And we are in your face. Welcome to Freedom's Pep Rally. I'm John James, and we're already into a Tuesday here. We're good to go. Mike, before you leave the studio, just a heads up. I think there may be a problem with the internet stream. I was not getting it. I rebooted my device. I don't know if anybody's commented, but there seems to be a problem with the stream on the internet. Maybe it's just me, but you might want to check that out. Just saying. Thank you very much, Mike Violet, for the great introduction. As always, a great show. And talking about some stuff we're going to be talking about this morning, too, as a matter of fact, the whole wearing a mask and the vaccine thing. Joe Biden is being made fun of now because he's the only world leader apparently wearing a mask. And I've got to tell you, he looks dumb. I mean, not that any of us look overly sophisticated and brilliant in a mask, but he looks like a little boy. He looks like a little mook because he is. And Kamala, the same thing. They walk around, they're wearing the mask. It looks as dumb as the your Channel 6 and Channel 8 news stringers out there doing reports in the middle of the great outdoors with masks on. Hold on a second here. Now I'm going to leave the mic for a moment because I've got one of the lights didn't get. I've got shadows here. It's driving me crazy. Hold on. I'm coming right back. Hold on. All right. We're doing it. We're back. I got some shadows. Oh, geez, I'm sorry about that. I got some shadows going on. It's just driving me absolutely nutty. Well, last night there was a bit of a. In case anybody saw the post on Facebook, and I want to check my message. I'll make sure. Okay, good. Thank you, Mike. Okay, I thought it was down. I always check the stream. I'm glad I did this morning. I always check the stream. But the stream, if you're listening online, legacy1160.com, you're listening to the audio stream, it is back up. and you can check it out. And it's brought to you by the Harry J. Smith Company on Sanger Avenue in Waterville. Our video stream on all kinds of platforms is brought to you by Moody's Collision Center with locations throughout Maine. And as I'm telling you that, I've got to share the video on the legacy1160.com page. You can find the video link right there if you want to watch us on our website. That would be very cool too. And we'll share that. Mike was on earlier there. I get him up as soon as I can. I don't mean I actually wake him up. I'm not with him, but I get him. I get his video posted up there on the website the first thing when I get out of bed and roll into the studio in the morning. The time right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW is what is it? 9:06. I've got to get everything going here and shared. So we're gonna do what we always do. Is that a warning? Oh no, it's a morning. A morning from Heather. Good morning, Heather. I saw a morning and my eyes saw a warning and I thought, uh-oh, what's this about? Chuck is there. Good morning. Thank you for waiting. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you very, very much. We've got to get people engaged, Chuck. As almost as dangerous as being engaged with the left, in my humble opinion, being engaged with a progressive left is not being engaged at all, having no political desires or interests at all. But on the other hand, those are a great part of the demographic to reach, whether they're young or they're old and they're just disinterested in politics. You explain to them what's going on. You make them see how important their engagement is. And you can sort of explain to them what's going on. They don't know what's happening, right? Most of them. I see all of these profiles. I always check profiles out on Facebook for politics, whether they're my friends or not. If their profile is open and, I see a post they've made or they've made a comment somewhere, I look to see what their political affiliation is. And oftentimes I see, I hate politics, not interested in politics, blah, 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 blah. And how can you not have any interest in politics at this point? If you're 18 or over, how can you have no interest? How can your only interest be in pop culture and what's going on? Speaking of that, I've got some great news here I want to share with you. I call it great. Not so great to some people in the media. The Oscars, I don't know. Did you watch the Oscars the other night? That's what it is, right? Oscars, the Academy Awards. No, me either. But listen to this. A record number of people didn't watch. This is great. I love it when this happens because it's all backfiring on them now. And it's not going to be long. It's not going to be long because they do not, these companies, these media companies, these movie companies do not like losing money. They don't like losing money. And listen to this about the Academy Awards. Seems we're getting tired of a bunch of self-righteous, self-aggrandizing, overpaid celebrities who tell us how we should act, how we should live, how important the climate is as they travel the globe in their private jets. The 93rd Academy Awards suffered a 13.75 million viewer drop from last year, from 1 year ago. I'm sorry, I have no sympathy for these people. I've got none, zero. Their job is to entertain us, to play roles, to act, to make us believe we're in the moment with them. That's what their job is. That's their job. The job of news people, political pundits, politicians, their job is politics. To deal with politics. It's not an actor's job. I don't care that Martin Sheen played the president in West Wing. He is not a politician, nor does he know anything about well, he might know something about politics, but I doubt he studies it. He drinks the Kool-Aid like so many others do of the liberal left, and they echo it because that's what they're told to do. Comply or be canceled. Well, it looks like Hollywood is being canceled, doesn't it? The people who cancel others, the people who cancel people they don't agree with are being canceled. And you know what? We didn't even have to say anything. We didn't have to say, boycott Hollywood. We didn't have to say, boycott the Academy Awards, boycott the Grammy Awards. We didn't have to say it. We just do it. We don't have to yell boycott. Boycotts backfire. Boycotts are stupid. Calling for boycotts is dumb. I know people on the right call for boycotts too, and I'm thinking, why? Why? People can do what they want. Don't demand a boycott. That's un-American. That's un-American. Boycott. Well, you can suggest. Okay, so that's not un-American to suggest. It's free speech, right? Okay, I get that. But telling people to boycott anything, it usually always backfires. It always backfires. The left, they are the boycott babies. Oh, they love the boycotts, and they never, ever work. Look what happens every time. Look what happened to Goya Foods, for crying out loud. The Goya Foods president made a comment pro-Donald Trump, saying it's great that we have a president in office who loves America. And I think there was something about prayer mentioned. Of course, they're a godless lot. And so AOC and the rest of them started with this boycott Goya Foods. Say no to Goya. I love it. And their products started flying off the shelves. I'd never seen Goya Foods in my local supermarket here, and they started showing up. People are buying them. So that's how boycotts work. I'm just not into that. We just do it. We just stop doing it. I mean, look at what happened to Fox News after they called Arizona on election night. I was appalled when I got Mike Violet and I were hosting the election night coverage until 11 o'clock. We hosted till 11 o'clock on Legacy 1160 right here on this station. And then we shut it down and we left and went home. On my way home, I'm listening to Fox News on the radio. And they say at 11 o'clock, so the polls had just closed in Arizona just not long before they called it. And they said, we're calling it for President Biden. I thought, Fox News is calling Arizona for President Biden when there's no way, there's no possible way enough votes have been counted to call Arizona. I mean, the polls had closed, so they were certainly entitled to do it. It wasn't changing any outcomes. But I to this day, we still don't know if it was the right outcome. We've got a count going on right now, as a matter of fact, in Arizona. But 4 months after the election, we still don't know. They were calling it after an hour or two, after the polls closed in Arizona. It's 4 months later, and we still don't know. And the Democrats don't like the fact that it's being recounted. We'll get to that a little later on this morning. Anyway, I had posted on my Facebook last night that I was going to be filling in for Keith Hansen on his syndicated show. And something happened. I don't know what the turn of events was, but they, for some reason, the file that I sent to them didn't get to them. It wasn't a live show. And so they reran an old Keith Hansen show. So I will be on the show tonight on Ram Radio at rightamericamedia.com, on a bunch of other, I will have to tell you, I'm not saying you have to listen to it or want to listen to it or anything. I'm kind of proud of it. I was kind of tickled that he asked me to help out. And so I just wanted to, I guess, brag about it a little bit. You know, as I've been doing this a lot of years, and it's nice to have this. The Patriot Nation Radio Network, Global Star Radio Network, K-Star Radio Network, Right America Media, and other affiliated radio stations are about 230 of them nationwide. So I will be on tonight, it looks like, 9 o'clock Eastern on the Keith Hansen Show. All right, so let's do Today in History. Let's find out what happened on this day in years past. We've got the Associated Press, and the date is the 27th of April.
April 27th, 1822. Ulysses S. Grant, the Civil War general who later served as president, is born in Point Pleasant, Ohio. Grant led Union forces during the war's final years, receiving the Confederate surrender at Appomattox. 1521, Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan is killed in the Philippines, but Magellan's crew continues and ultimately completes the first circumnavigation of the globe. 1805. In North Africa, an attack during the First Barbary War that inspires the lyrics of a U.S. Marine Corps hymn. A force of Marines and mercenaries capture the city of Derna on the shores of Tripoli, now part of Libya. And in 1947, in New York, ailing baseball star Babe Ruth is honored at Yankee Stadium on Babe Ruth Day.
There's been so many lovely things said about me, and I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to thank everybody. Thank you.
But Ruth's health continues to decline, and baseball's Sultan of SWAT dies the following year. Today in history, April 27th. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
The Sultan of SWAT. Boy, he sounded pretty bad there, didn't he? I watched a movie about Babe Ruth one time, and it was very interesting. The guy lived hard. I mean, he lived hard. But boy, what a curse, huh? What a curse over the years to the Red Sox. Curse of the Bambino. All right, we've got a 917 here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. And hopefully later on we're going to get to talk with somebody regarding a new gun law that is being proposed for the state of Maine. It is a proposed self-defense law. And the hope this morning is it's LD 1138, duty to retreat. And it has been put forward by State Representative John Andrews, who is Maine's only libertarian elected to office, by the way, in the legislature. He doesn't know if he'll be able to get to talk with us this morning. He's got a lot of stuff going on. But if not him, it looks like we might be able to get Lauren LePage on to talk with us, the former governor's daughter. So and she is working closely with the NRA. So hopefully we will get one of them on a little later on this morning. We'll talk about the bill anyway and what it is set up to do. Coming up here on Legacy 1160. Don't forget, tomorrow night we have somebody in town in Augusta starting at 6 o'clock at the Capitol. And this is going to be streamed. We'll get more information tomorrow morning at 7:08 on the Mike Violet Show. Naomi Wolf, Dr. Naomi Wolf, is going to be on. She's a liberal author. She's a feminist. And she's also a huge supporter of no vaccine passports, which it's looking more and more now like they will be utilized in some ways if you want to travel anywhere, at least in Europe, and maybe around the United States, depending on, we never know what the federal government's going to do because Joe Biden is back and forth. You tell Joe that when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said that, we can make Joe go further left. She wasn't kidding. She wasn't kidding. She's absolutely serious. All we've got to do is we can make him go for, and they have. In fact, AOC now says she's very happy with Joe's progress towards progressivism since he's been in office. Because Joe he's like a ship on the ocean. Any way the wind blows, Joe is apt to sail. He's rudderless. It's all in the wind. And the biggest wind comes from the progressive left. And the progressive left's wind is blowing him further and further left. He doesn't know where he is most of the time, but trust me, he is going further and further to the left all the time. Kamala Harris is already there. She's waiting for him to show up. She's waiting for him to die is what she's waiting for. If the truth be told, I'm not saying it to be mean. If the truth be told, she would like to see Joe's demise expedited. I swear she would. But other than that, she's way over there on the left with AOC and the rest. And they're all waiting for Joe to show up. They're just pushing him, and he's getting there. He's getting there. I'd say slow but sure, but it's not really that slow as it's been pretty quick, to be honest with you. But in talking about Naomi Wolf here, tomorrow she is the author of a best-selling book called The Beauty Myth. I've never read it. Also CEO of a tech company. And this is the caveat, the fact she is a CEO of a tech company. So she knows what technology, IT, all that stuff can do and how it can be utilized. I mean, she's right on the front lines of that. She's been all over Fox News sounding the alarm on what so-called COVID passports could mean for all of us. Now, you wouldn't expect it from somebody of liberal leanings, but, she's objective. I mean, she sees right and wrong. The things she thinks are right, I certainly don't agree with most of them. But she sees the passports as wrong, and I certainly agree with her on that. It's just a good example of, we have differing opinions, but we can come together on certain things. So what she says, and this is from a liberal now, she says vaccine passports could spell the end of freedom as we know it. Because they can attach this electronic technology, which will be on your smartphone, on your devices. They can attach it to your medical records, which obviously bank accounts. They'll be able to manipulate your bank accounts, freeze them. If you're doing something, you want to make a gun purchase, they can freeze it. It's power and control. Something the left is usually all for, but not in this case, not Naomi Wolf. Too much power, too much control. She sees the writing on the wall. She's in tech. She knows. Listen to her. And again, she'll be speaking in Augusta tomorrow night. And we'll get a video link for you, so we'll be able to hopefully all be there watching. And I don't know if we'll be able to comment or not, but we will see. Hello, Marianne. You want to be on camera?
No,
probably not. Okay. You want to be on microphone there?
Sure.
All right. There it is right there. You're on it.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Doing all right.
Great. I have no cameras pointing at you. I wish I did. This is Marianne, my lovely wife, who is actually taking out my trash. I didn't throw any apples in it because they attract ants.
I am doing some housework before I go to work.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you got to work. She's a first responder. I mean, she's a medical worker. She's hard at it, and she's had how many ticks on you have you had this year? Right in our backyard.
One.
Just
two.
Two, yeah. And I had one the other night. I didn't tell you about it. So beware the ticks.
Beware the ticks.
All right.
Beware the ticks.
Thank you, Marianne.
If you see a mole on your body and it's moving, it's probably a tick.
Probably a tick. You don't want that. Nasty. Lyme disease, nasty. We did a show on Lyme disease with the Sportsmen's Alliance of Maine one time. And the woman, and I wish I knew the name of the website, I'd give it to you because it's very apropos right now because we have, the warmer weather coming up, more people getting out about doing yard work, going into the woods and doing things. I've been in the woods a lot, cutting and chipping things. And the ticks are all over the place. I will try to get the website. David Trahan over at the Sportsmen's Alliance, I know has it. And it goes through the whole thing about ticks and Lyme disease. And this lady has done an incredible job. She's from Maine. She's got a website. It's all encompassing. She went for a long time in pain, writhing agony, not knowing it was undiagnosed. And she finally got it diagnosed. And she tells her story and offers some suggestions to people. And everybody in Maine, in the sound of my voice, is going to be affected by ticks this summer. I guarantee it. We never saw them when I was a kid. Never saw them growing up. Now they're everywhere. You can't go into the woods without finding ticks on you. And your animal, forget it. Your animals, we had a beagle several years ago. And every time the beagle went out, she would run. I mean, she would stay on our property. We got 5 acres. She would run around in the woods, and she would come home, and we would find 3 or 4 engorged ticks on her every single time that he came in. And it was scary. It was horrible. Anyway, that has nothing to do with Naomi Wolf. We'll get the video link for you so you can watch her tomorrow night in Augusta and maybe interact. I don't know how the setup's going to be, if they're going to be doing Zoom or just a straight YouTube or what they're going to be doing. Time right now, 9:26 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. We're powered by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. They are open today. Go see them. Go see my buddy Adam. We got Cody, we got Crystal, we got Garrett. We've got a bunch of great people there. And Jared, I always get his name messed up. Great kid. I think he's single too, by the way. I'm not sure. He's a redhead. Chicks dig redheads, right? Am I right? I know guys dig redheads. I'm sure chicks probably do too. Rare. It's a sort of a rarity to have a nice, bright redhead. Anyway, I don't want to embarrass the guy, but and I'm not going to say he's single. On the Black Guns Matter hat. Thank you for the comment. The Black Guns Matter. That's exactly what I am. That's what I'm donning today on my head. That's an organization founded by a black man, and it's all about the Second Amendment and black guns, like your AR-15s, like your AR-10s. In fact, our good friend Jeff Zimba wrote a book called The Evolution of the Black Gun or the Black Rifle. And you pick it up at a local bookstore and maybe even get Jeff to autograph it. He's a great guy. He's not available for a little while. He's sort of in the process of taking care of some other very, very important things. So that's why he hasn't been and won't be on the air with us for a while. But we'll get him in here as soon as we can. And we'll talk guns, which we're going to a little bit this morning with this new law that is coming up in Maine. So, how stupid do masks look on the president and vice president? Well, first of all, they have both received their complete vaccination regimen. So they look stupid. They look dumb anyway. Joe Biden always looked dumb. Joe Biden is an idiot. Okay, let me just get that out. I wanted to say it. I just said it. Okay, Joe Biden is an idiot. Joe Biden rides a bike wearing a mask. You remember he was out riding a bike by himself during the campaign? He's out riding a bike, and he's got this hideous big black masks matter, I guess. He always wears this big black mask, and it just, he looks dumb. And so in the Kamala Harris, they look like the Bobbsey twins, don't they? So they're getting called out now. The image of President Biden. No, I'm sorry. That was a Freudian slip right there. The image of President Biden as one of the lone world leaders wearing a mask during an online global summit illustrates that the White House policy on the issue is more. You know what I'm going to say here, don't you? Mike used the term earlier. Theater. It's theater. It's virtue signaling. This is the left. This is classic leftism. Classic leftism. They wear a mask everywhere. When they're on a Zoom, wherever, it doesn't matter. So he's on this got this global summit going on. And I didn't see this. But they're both wearing, well, Biden, I don't know if Cacklin Cammy was there or not. But it's theater discouraging people from getting vaccinated. according to Rand Paul. Yes, discouraging people from getting vaccinated. All right, let's see. What's the temp going to be today? That's a good. We've got the weather coming right up. Heather, don't you go anywhere. Reggie, Dementia Joe is a puppet. Yeah, he is. He is a puppet. Insisting, anyway, back to this, the wearing masks, the puppet wearing masks, insisting it's unnecessary for fully vaccinated people to wear masks in public. Dr. and Senator Rand Paul questioned why Biden wore a mask, unlike other leaders like German Prime Minister Angela Merkel, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, German Chancellor. Was it German Chancellor or is it Prime Minister? Chancellor Angela Merkel? Okay, sorry. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Poot, not wearing masks. There's Joe. There's Joe. His face all covered up so you can't hear him. And plus, you know what? It is to me on the news or wherever. It is just. It's so unprofessional. It is so unprofessional because I struggle. Like when Joe Biden made that statement the other night, it just I would just as soon actually he'd be masked all the time if it muffled his speech. Because he never says anything that makes any sense. But when he was making the comments the other night before the George Floyd verdict about how I hope the verdict comes out, it should only come out one way. And he was, of course, pushing for the guilty verdict before the verdict was released because he's a mook. But I could hardly understand what he was saying because he had the mask on. And you've got these virtue signaling TV reporters. The most notable one is the one Mike jumped all over from Channel 8. Down there on Sebago Lake. Big, huge, the second biggest lake in Maine. Huge lake. Fishing derby. Out in the ice cold snow. And it's a cold day and it's beautiful sparkling sunshine. And you have the reporter out there in front of the camera. Nobody around. The big lake in the background. Wearing a mask. Muffled. I just, please get over yourselves. And I know it's not the reporter's fault. It's the news directors saying, well, you've got to wear a mask. You've got to look the part of a concerned leftist because the hierarchy at these stations typically are leftists. That's just the way it is. That's the way media is. So not surprising. They're doing what they're told to do. And it's starting to look foolish, especially with everybody getting the vaccines. It's beyond dumb. So Rand Paul, I've got some great audio from Rand Paul coming up on this whole mask thing. And we'll get to it next. We got to take a break here. Your time right now on Legacy 1160 is 9:34. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally. Don't go away. Please share the video if you can. We'll be right back.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Have adventurous plans this spring? You're going to need a Jeep. So head to Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep to save on new Jeep vehicles during their Jeep Celebration event. Now through the end of April. Shop online at HaightChryslerDodgeJeep.com or stop by 507 Lakewood Road, Clowes Corner, Madison.
Spring is the time of renewal for both you and your home. So brighten your day and your surroundings with great items from Town Line Antiques. Do you love classic decor? You'll find furniture, artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more pieces around every corner. Their classic colors and styles will have you thinking spring and feeling invigorated every time you see them. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Town Line Antiques has rare items that you won't find anywhere else. Town Line is also showcasing a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. Each piece is one of a kind, with its own unique flair of colors and form. You simply have to see them to appreciate their beauty. And for everyone who loves to bring items back to life, they're now carrying high-quality fusion mineral paints that give you beautiful color and a durable, long-lasting finish. Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Partly to mostly sunny this morning, starting off cool but warming up quickly with highs in the mid-60s and mostly sunny skies. Chance for showers tomorrow morning and again through the afternoon and evening. Some thunderstorms are possible during the evening. Highs will be in the upper 50s and 60s, warmest north. A steadier rain moves in late Thursday into Friday.
Hello and welcome back. There we go. Oh. John Kerry's in some... What? I can't get over this guy. I cannot get over John Kerry. He is such a loser. Such a loser. Oh, he's rich. Oh, he's rich beyond belief. Why? Because of China, because of his Joe Biden connections, his Hunter Biden connections. You do know, don't you, that John Forbes Kerry, the man who threw medals over the fence back when, what year, he was running for president to show his hatred for the military and for Vietnam. As I recall, John Forbes Kerry, former Secretary of State, now he's the climate envoy. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Thank you. My Black Guns Matter hat. I've had this for a long time. Actually, people say, how dare you? I say it's a group. Look it up. Black Guns Matter, founded by a black guy. You know, there are some patriots. There are some patriots in this world, you know, that understand where this stuff comes from. We aren't all blinded because they don't report it on your chosen media. They cherry pick what they give you for information, and you agreeingly echo it. And they don't want you to know certain things, like about a group called Black Guns Matter, about a computer owned by Hunter Biden that shows that Hunter and Joe were complicit with China. Got some heavy news about China, too, we'll get to. I'm going to show you China in a little while. I'm going to show you what China just did last Friday. And I'm going to compare it to what Joe Biden is doing. And you tell me how much America has changed since Donald Trump left office. You tell me. You are going to be embarrassed for our country when I compare what is going on between the two superpowers. But I promised you, I had some Rand Paul audio for you after telling you that Joe Biden was the only world leader in this conference, at least one of the only world leaders during the global summit, to wear the mask after he's been vaccinated. Okay, whatever, Joe. You look like who's the odd man out? One of these things is not like the other. Huh? It's me, isn't it? Yeah, it's you, Joe. You, Joe. How about that? Who dressed you this morning? Jilly? Did Jilly dress you? Dr. Jill Biden? She'd make a great Surgeon General, Jill Biden. She's a hell of a doctor. No, sorry, Whoopi. She's a doctor of education. Nice try, though. So Rand Paul, Dr. Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul, said on Fox News that the federal government's messaging on vaccines has been full of fear-mongering. And what do you think wearing the mask is for Joe Biden? It's virtue signaling, it's fear-mongering, because you've got to be so careful. Even after you've had the vaccine, you continue social distancing. You continue wearing that mask. We continue to set limits on how many people can go hither and yon and you listen to Big Brother because Big Brother is in control and Big Brother knows what is best for you. You think you're a free people. Well, let me tell you something. You are not free as far as we're concerned. We control your movements and what you do, what you wear, what you say. Am I making any of that up? None of it. None of it. Is that not frightening to you? This is where we have come since Donald Trump, even before Donald Trump left office. I mean, how long is the government, with Twitter and Facebook, how long have they been controlling free speech? How long have they been doing it? They controlled Donald Trump through most of his presidency, flagging his posts. Now they've deleted him for good. Free speech, baby. What? And they're trying to do the same thing in the government. The government has now made it illegal, I guess, within the ranks to use terms like illegal alien or, get this one, assimilate. You can't use the word. It's wrong. They can't use the word assimilate. People should assimilate when they come to America. You want to be an American? You come in, you take the test. But the test, I know the test is out the window. The need for citizenship is out the window. In fact, the people coming into this country now who want to do it the right way, they don't know what they're missing out on. If you want bigger handouts, you come in illegally. That's the way to get bigger handouts. You come the right way, you're going to have to get what the rest of us schmucks who are already Americans get. You know, we get, little stipends here and there from the government. We get taxed up the nose. We don't get free hotel rooms. We don't get $26,000 checks as a stimulus payment. Illegals have. I'm talking about free hotel rooms. Government's paying for it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want that. I don't want the government taking care of any of my needs, but for the government through our taxes to take care of the needs of people who aren't even here legally, that fries my patootie. Ouch. Just ouch. You know what I'm saying? So they are fear-mongering in the U.S. Congress. Dr. Fauci says if you get the vaccine, you still need to wear a mask. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have both been vaccinated, and they still wear a mask everywhere they go. Ted Cruz has been vaccinated. And recently, a virtue signaling member of the press corps told him, would you mind putting on a mask? To Cruz, to Senator Cruz. Cruz refused. It's the Cruzal refusal. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. America, baby. You don't like it, Mr. Press Guy? Leave. Bye-bye. We don't need your type here. Senator Rand Paul told Fox News there is a great way to make sure more people get vaccinated. A great way to make sure if you want people vaccinated, here is the way. And it makes too much sense for the progressives to grasp. Listen.
Science is about proving that things are happening. If Dr. Fauci can prove that people who are vaccinated are spreading the disease, I will listen to him. If he can prove that people like me who have already had it are spreading the disease, I'll listen to him. But there is no evidence of that. If you want more people to get vaccinated, Joe Biden should go on national TV, take his mask off, and burn it. Light a torch to it and burn his mask and say, I've had the vaccine. I am now safe from this plague. If you'll get the vaccine, you can be safe too. But instead they say, well, the vaccine might not work in some sort of planetary world we're not aware of.
Right.
The vaccine might not work. Well, there's no evidence of it. The burden of proof should be on the government to prove that we are spreading it, and then we'll listen to them.
Right.
But instead it sounds sort of like fear-mongering.
Fear-mongering is right. Dr. Rand Paul is right. So it's true. Even with a vaccine, some have gotten COVID. Some people have gotten COVID with a vaccine. Why? Because nothing. Dr. G told us this. Several times he's told us this. It's not surprising because no vaccine, even the flu vaccine, doesn't have 100% efficacy. It just doesn't. So people are still going to be able to get it. Passing it around, there's no proof it's being passed around. So there have been no deaths or hospitalizations from people who've been vaccinated, according to Rand Paul. Listen.
You're right. A very, very small people got infected. Do you know how many people were hospitalized? And do you know how many people died after the vaccine? The vaccine's an amazing thing. So's natural infection if you get it the hard way. You don't want to wish that on people, but people have survived it. We shouldn't discount it. But the vaccination has virtually zero hospitalizations and virtually zero deaths. In fact, I'm not aware of any. Reinfection from people who have had it is very low number. Most people get a mild course of it, and there's a rare, if ever, reinfection that caused a fatality. So really, we should appreciate immunity, both naturally acquired and by vaccine. But you know why people don't trust the government? Because the government's saying, oh, no, everyone's the same. Whether you've had the disease or not, you have to be vaccinated. If you're 10 years old, you need, it's this one size fits all that people know that this isn't as dangerous for young people, but it's very dangerous after a certain age and for overweight people.
Oh, there you go. Older people, overweight people, it's very dangerous. People with pre-existing conditions. So look at the data. Use data, use science. Rand Paul did. He's a doctor. But nobody pays attention to him. Nobody on the left pays attention to him. Heck, I still see people walking down the road wearing masks. I mean, how easy to control are these sheep? I mean, really, wouldn't you think they would not be? I don't know. I don't laugh anymore. I feel sorry, and it makes me wonder, how many people are there like this out there who just will follow anything, and they will go beyond even what is recommended? Oh, I know Janet Mills said, oh, you should even wear a mask anywhere. Anytime you're outside your house, wear a mask. And so people are so afraid. They are so easy to control. It's pathetic. It really is sad. Is this the generation we are raising? Are these... I feel horrible for my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids. If America lasts that long. The way it's going, I mean, there are so many people just so eager, almost eager and willing to have the government tell them what to do so they don't have to make their own decision. Just tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. Lack of critical thinking. I don't know if that shows a lack of intelligence. It certainly doesn't show brilliance by any stretch of the imagination. But we've seen some very smart people on the left take it to an extreme. Well, you're going to wear a mask wherever you go. You shouldn't be going to a restaurant. You're going to make everybody sick. Why are you taking your mask off at a restaurant? You should wear your mask except when you're taking a bite of your food. Excuse me? What's the point? If I can't sit back, why would anyone go out and spend their hard-earned money on a nice meal out with a family or friends and have to wear a mask all throughout, only moving it down to take a bite of food? Who would waste their money? That is not enjoyable. I go out to dinner because it's relaxed. Somebody else gets me my food. I always tip nicely, especially in this day and age of COVID. And I'm relaxed, and I'm not wearing a mask. I'm sitting there talking to whoever I'm talking with, and I look around, and I kid you not, every so often, And they're sparse in restaurants now because you can't seat. You have to do every other seat, every other booth, every other table. So they're losing money hand over fist. If more restaurants don't go out of business, I will be shocked. But you see people sitting at their table wearing masks, and they'll pull it down to sip out of the straw or to take a bite, and then they will put it back. Oh, now, I don't know. Maybe they've got some serious pre-existing conditions. Well, then that begs the question, why are you out eating at a restaurant? Save your money. Eat where you can enjoy yourself without having to. I laugh because it's so absurd, but it's so telling how easy people are to navigate. It's like they've got a marionette, right? I mean, the government is there pulling the strings. You put your mask on, you're going out to walk your dog. And I see this. I see people walking their dogs with masks on. Not the dogs, although I have heard occasions where people have masked their dog. I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it. So far, no masked doggies. I mean, that to me would be cruel, but to some, I know it's just hyper-protective. That's the word I'm looking for, too, by the way, hyper-protective. Yes, Dirk, we are going to get to Arizona. What's going on in Arizona with the recount? That is coming up here in just a little while on Legacy 1160, WSKW. And I do want to do a little bit more on this COVID thing, vaccine passports. Of course, Naomi Wolf, author, feminist, liberal, tech CEO. And I'm only saying this because I'm only giving her credentials as a liberal because I am uber pleased that, and again, when I talk about liberals and leftists, I'm not talking about the same animal. Liberals are, in my mind, in my definition, the way I speak about people on the left, liberals are not to be grouped in with leftists and progressives. Leftists and progressives, to me, are lost. They are lost. They are left. They are bye-bye. They're off the cliff somewhere. Liberals tend to be much more objective, much more moderate on certain things. And this is a good example, Naomi Wolf. So she is saying vaccine passports, go ahead. We make vaccine passports a law of the land. Freedom as we know it is over. And she understands tech. Oh, she's a conspiracy theorist. You just don't agree with her on this. So you know what? You're going to throw her under the bus. She's been objective. She has not been a one-size-fits-all person, which to me makes her, it gives her more credibility than a lot of people on the far, far right and the far, far left. A lot more credibility because she does listen to both sides. And she doesn't like this. Now, the European Union, something on maybe I've got a tick. Now I'm worried. Something is pinching me on my back. Guess I've got to have that checked out during the break. Wow. Speaking of ticks. So the European Union is going to reopen its borders to American tourists this summer. But in order to go to Europe, the European Union, you will need to prove you have had the vaccine, a vaccine passport. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told the New York Times in a report Sunday, according to WND, that 27 member states of the EU will accept travelers who are vaccinated with vaccines approved by the EU's European Medicines Agency. The good news is that all the vaccines available here in the United States now, then there are only 3 that I know of, are accepted. The EMA has approved the 3 vaccines in use in the U.S., Moderna, Pfizer, and J&J. The AstraZeneca vaccine authorized by the European regulators is awaiting approval by the U.S. FDA, but I wouldn't go near that with a 10-foot pole. Johnson & Johnson vaccine, maybe I'd get. And I told you I'm probably going to get the vaccine. My wife asked me again this morning, you going to get the vaccine? Probably. I've got people in my life, not because the government's saying I need it, because people like Rand Paul say the efficacy is good. You shouldn't have to wear a mask after you get it, because people I trust, like Rand Paul, are saying it. And because my family would like to see me do it. U.S. and EU officials are discussing the creation of a vaccine certificate or passport that would be required for international travel. Now, as I've said before, this is something, we can help. If you're going to travel and another country demands it that doesn't have America's, value equivalency and requires proof, I'm not so sure the U.S. shouldn't require some sort of proof of vaccine for people coming in here, but of course they don't. They let people cross the borders not even knowing if they have COVID-19. So, don't expect the U.S. to require vaccine passports from illegals coming in here or even people from other countries. However, we may need them. We will need them to travel abroad in many areas. And we may need them to travel intrastate. And that's a scary thing. And this is where Naomi Wolf is saying there are going to be problems for our freedoms going ahead. Many who have chosen not to get the COVID-19 shot have pointed out that people with certain characteristics, now this is important, listen to this. People with certain characteristics, including pregnant women, are more vulnerable than others to adverse effects. And this is from data compiled by VAERS, which is, they track this data, vaccines and effects afterwards. It's the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, VAERS. They argue that each individual, in consultation with a doctor, has the right to make a personal cost-benefit analysis, particularly regarding a virus with a nearly 100% survivability rate for the average healthy person, especially younger people. Now, check this out. I have not looked up the article, but this is interesting. And I don't put this out there to scare people from getting the vaccine, but I want to have all the information that is out there known. I will disseminate everything I know, good or bad, just so you have the information. The leftist propaganda media will say nothing. They will give you none of the information that would be good to know, but might not bode well for the vaccine. They'll keep that from you. But I want to give you all the information. There's a new report published by Microbiology and Infectious Disease that found the mRNA vaccines could, and again, this is the long-term effects that I was talking with Dr. Garofalo about last week. We don't know. But this, again, it's Microbiology and Infectious Disease, which is a publication, found the mRNA vaccines could trigger Alzheimer's disease, ALS, and other neurological and cognitive degenerative diseases. This was reported yesterday by the Gateway Pundit. Interesting. I don't have any chances. What are the chances of developing a cognitive issue? I don't know. That data is not available. Again, we're very early on in this. Is that any different than a flu vaccine? Do you get the same? Is the same side effect possible with the flu vaccine? I don't know. You'd think we'd know that. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Might be interesting to see if other vaccines have the same potential side effects. Compare them side by side. Because this What they're saying here is alarming. The risk may not be great, but if it's a risk, it's something you should know about. And it is very alarming to think of. However, do we know that other vaccines don't have the same side effects? I don't know. I would like to know. And if they don't, it might give me more pause in getting this mRNA vaccine this early at this stage of the game. The more you know. I will, as I know anything, I'll let you know. I'm not going to keep anything from you. That's not what we're about. That's not what we ought to be about. We aren't propaganda. We're truth. And that's it. I mean, that's the way it is. Not lying. It's the truth. Stick around. We got more coming up after the news. I got to go get a tick check here, and we'll be back. This is Freedom's Pep Rally. I'm John James. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Please stay with me. Please share. We'll be back.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
It's a new year. Aren't you tired of walking over the same beaten up old flooring? It's time you installed a new floor that offers premium durability by contacting HT Winters about their line of Tarkett Pro Gen tile and wood flooring. Tarkett is designed to stand strong in all seasons against water, dirt, and sunlight. The best way to improve your home this winter is to install Tarkett Pro Gen tile and wood flooring. HT Winters, 43 Bay Street in Winslow, and online at htwintersflooring.com.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Partly to mostly sunny this morning, starting off cool but warming up quickly with highs in the mid-60s and mostly sunny skies. Chance for showers tomorrow morning and again through the afternoon and evening. Some thunderstorms are possible during the evening. Highs will be in the upper 50s and 60s, warmest north. A steadier rain moves in late Thursday into Friday.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
ABC News, I'm Ika Giacchi. Federal health officials expected to revise the guidelines on whether Americans should wear masks outside. Most doctors think we'll be able to take them off if we're fully vaccinated. ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
Public health experts agree that masks are crucial indoors, but only 25 states currently have statewide mask mandates. Now, officials still maintain that vaccines remain the most crucial tool to getting us back to normal.
37% of American adults are now fully vaccinated. The U.S. is sending PPE and millions of doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine to India, where they recorded 1 million coronavirus cases in just 3 days this week. Ahead of President Biden's address to Congress tomorrow night, he'll sign an executive order today increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour for federal contract workers. The president also set to unveil the latest phase of his massive reinvestment program focusing on childcare, healthcare, and education. This is ABC News. Political power shifts are coming. 2020 census data, now out, has several states shedding congressional seats. Census Bureau Acting Director Ron Jarman.
7 states will each lose 1 seat in the House: California, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia.
Texas is picking up 2 seats, while Florida, North Carolina, Colorado, Montana, and Oregon each gain 1. California's governor now facing a recall election. ABC's Alex Stone is in Los Angeles.
It's no surprise that supporters of the recall effort have enough valid signatures. It's appeared that way for weeks. Governor Gavin Newsom, who has ramped up a full campaign, now tweeting, quote, "This Republican recall threatens our values and seeks to undo the important progress we've made from fighting COVID to helping struggling families, protecting our environment, and passing common sense gun violence solutions. There is too much at stake," he writes.
California's last recall was in 2003. Ika Giacchi, ABC News.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies. Last year, we saw historically low mortgage interest rates. What you may not know is that interest rates are already starting to increase, and it's likely that trend is only going to continue. Our team of experts is standing by to help you save before rates go up. Don't look back and wish that you had taken action. Call 833-8-ROCKET or visit rocketmortgage.com. Rocket.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Hello. Sorry, I had a little bit of an echo there. Sorry about that. We're good now. That was my fault. That's the first thing I've done. That is my fault. I own that. I apologize. It wasn't bad, was it? It wasn't that bad, but I heard it. I could hear it. Legacy 1160 WSKW, Freedom's Pep Rally. I'm John James, and I still haven't heard back from John Andrews, the gentleman who has put in the bill, but the gun bill. I guess I should be a little bit more specific, but I do want to get to that. First, Dirk had asked me, I don't know what platform you're on, Dirk, but I did get asked about Arizona, what is going on in Arizona. So let me tell you the latest I have on Arizona. The Democrats' attempt to stop, to halt, to cease a recount in Arizona, Maricopa County, presidential election. It hit turbulence over the weekend, according to WND. The judge hearing the case took himself out of it. He recused himself, which I guess is the thing he was supposed to do. I don't know. What do I look like, a lawyer or judge? So KTAR reported Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Christopher Curry recused himself Sunday. And a hearing was scheduled for yesterday, and that was being rescheduled. Now, in the midst of all that, the audit continues while the court battle ensues. The court battle is launched by the Democrats, and this is telling. This is very telling. The Democrats launched this court battle because they do not want the official results that favored Biden to be reviewed. Why do you suppose that is? Well, you can only guess. Now, I have no idea if it's going to change any outcome, if it's going to change any counts. I don't know. I don't know what hanky-panky was done behind the scenes. I know it seemed that a lot of the officials at some of these these polling places, were in quite a hurry to reformat those voting machines. That was anecdotal evidence that I heard from various of the witnesses who signed the affidavits, that they were all hot and heavy to get rid of some of the data on those machines, even though they didn't need to be used for another election anytime soon, with the exception maybe of Georgia with those 2 Senate elections, but even those didn't come for a couple of months after. So I don't know where machines were erased and data was done away with, but I suppose it's all backed up somewhere. Somebody said there wasn't. So first of all, a couple of things to note, and I've always said this. I've said this from the very start, because we'd heard that these machines aren't connected to the internet. The voting machines aren't connected to the internet. The data is all private, can't be tampered with. I said, how is that even possible? How would you get the data from the machine to computers to sort it out and to analyze it if you didn't have some kind of a network connection? Impossible. Impossible. Oh, I know. They're going to use thumb drives. That's what they're going to do. They're going to use thumb. Give me a break. So I was right. I was right. I'm not dumb when it comes to computers. I was right. They are, in fact, connected to the internet. In fact, people from outside were getting into the machines. They were getting into the machines. It was being reported in real time. So they are connected to the internet. How many people, and they said there were no backups. Well, there are backups. Where are they? We don't know. Can they be deleted before anybody gets their hand? We don't know. There's a lot we don't know. There was a lot of hanky-panky going on, in my humble opinion, and the humble opinion of many other Americans, including many in high places. So just saying. So we'll see what happens in Arizona. It's going to be interesting to see how that Maricopa County recount comes out, and unless the Democrats are successful in stopping it. But at this point, it's I would think, kind of doubtful. And what would it look like if they did stop it? Well, it absolutely looks like they have something to hide. That's what it looks like. 1010, Legacy 1160 WSKW, streaming live at legacy1160.com, powered by the Harry J. Smith Company on Sanger Avenue in Waterville. The video stream on all platforms, powered by Moody's Collision Centers with locations throughout Maine. And this show, Freedom's Pep Rally, brought to you by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. They have got a great supply of guns. They've got a beautiful store, and they've got some wicked nice people in there who will help you out, help you make your purchase, and they all know about guns. They aren't like your typical Walmart sports department people. And don't get me wrong, I mean, they're employed, they're working. But you go up and you ask a guy in the sporting department about a gun at Walmart. Sometimes they know. I've actually had a couple of guys at the Augusta Walmart who knew their stuff pretty well. But I've had others like, do you have any 9mm? Is that like for a shotgun? No, just show me your case, okay? I'll look. So, no, these people at the gun shop on Coney Circle in Augusta, they know their stuff. They will help you make your purchase. They will show you what you need to consider, and they will give you some safety rules if you ask. I mean, don't assume they're going to offer safety rules. They aren't going to be condescending, because most people that go into gun stores that I see know what they're doing. They know the gun safety. They know they're buying a gun, they know how to use it, and they aren't, they just don't say, oh, so should I give you a gun safety? No, you have to ask, and they will be delighted to help you out. That took a lot. Talking about guns always takes a lot out of me. So let's talk about guns. Why not? And we're going to start with Maine. Before we do that, though, let me start with the omnipotent Janet Mills, governor of the great state of Maine. Continues her omnipotency. Like Democrats in Washington, D.C., as we've come to know, here in the great state of Maine, Maine Democrats like single-party rule, just like they do in D.C. They locked Republicans out of the budget, which was huge. I mean, the budget was a huge deal, right? So they locked Republicans out of the budget process using their simple majority. The governor has not lifted a finger to reach across the aisle, has not even responded to requests by Republicans to let's talk, and involves conservatives. Anything that involves conservatives, she doesn't want any part of. And the legislature dealt another major but not unexpected blow to bipartisanship yesterday. Have you heard about this? Legislative State and Local Government Committee, controlled by Democrats, rejected in a series of party line votes more than a dozen bills seeking to constrain Governor Janet Mills' executive authority during a civil state of emergency. Every month, without fail, her beautiful face comes on my television and says, we're extending the emergency orders, the emergency whatever it is, she calls it, for another month until the end of what was it, the end of May this time. Oh, yeah, it'll be the end of June, then July, then August, then Thanksgiving, then Christmas. Because this is not going to end. Oh, they love the power. They so love the power. The Dems have, by all accounts, shut the door on compromise of any kind in Maine. Southern Maine, coastal Maine, the Democrats from those areas control us all. All of us controlled by the leftists. Interesting, who's always controlling when we reach this point? Not interesting, it's sad. Now, other things going on in the state of Maine, and I don't know is we're going to get anybody on about this bill, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway, and we'll have somebody on hopefully tomorrow. It just came to light this morning for me, so I didn't have time to set anybody up. But there is a bill in the Maine legislature right now involving guns, and it is LD 1138. So here is the crux of it. The bill removes the requirements that a person refrain from using deadly force and instead retreat if it is safe to do so, and if the person can comply with a demand that the person abstain from performing an act that the person is not obliged to perform. That sounds very legalese. Let me explain to you what I had to read this several times before maybe you say, what are you talking about? That was simple. Okay, I'm simple. All right, I'll be the first one to tell you that. So it took me a few times going over it. What it basically means is this bill will not obligate you to retreat even if you can. And current law, apparently, I didn't know this was a fact, but current law makes it so if you can comply with what the perp wants, you should do that. If I'm reading that right. Let me read it to you again. See if this is what you get out of it. This bill, 1138, which is a good bill. This is a good bill. Just so you understand, the bill we're talking about is a good bill. It's a pro-gun, pro-self-defense bill. This bill removes the requirements that a person refrain from using deadly force and instead retreat if it is safe to do so, and if the person can comply with the demand that the person abstain from performing an act that the person is not obliged to perform. I hate it when they word things like that, but it's the way it is. The bill also permits the use of deadly force to prevent death or serious bodily injury in self-defense or in defense, and this is important, or in defense of a third person, or to prevent the forcible commission of a kidnapping, a robbery, or a gross sexual assault. Bingo. Perfect. Good law. So that means if you come up on a situation, if this bill passes, now I don't know if it is illegal to do this now. I guess it would certainly be a court battle. But if this bill is passed, this LD 1138, you would be, if you came up on somebody committing a crime, sexually assaulting somebody, holding a pharmacist or citizen or friend or family member at gunpoint. Doesn't have to be you. You could use deadly force to stop that person, to stop the commission of that crime. What's wrong with that? Well, now this is, according to WGME, this is their description of it, which is a little bit easier to understand, not quite as all-encompassing. An act to ensure the right to self-defense exists outside the home by removing the requirement to retreat. Now, in come the dissenters. Jeff Bickford, the executive director of the Maine Gun Safety Coalition, says, what these laws do is really create a shoot first, ask questions later mentality in the stage, and so long as you have passed that background with zero training, runs a huge risk of endangering others or themselves. So, in other words, Jeff Bickford just rained on the parade. He just ran. Okay, show me now. We have anybody who wants to carry a gun for the last 5 years. More than that. I can't believe it's been that long. I did an interview with Jeff Zimba and Todd Tolhurst, the late Todd Tolhurst, who was the president of the Gun Owners of Maine at the time. The day it became law in Maine, we did an interview. And we predicted that unlike the Democrats were predicting, the leftist Democrats were predicting, blood would not run in the streets of Maine because anybody who could legally carry a gun was carrying a gun. And guess what? We were right. Guess why? Because people know how to exercise their freedom in a very mature way. There were no mass killings. There have been no rampant murders. There have been some lives saved, as a matter of fact, by people. I think of one incident in Augusta at the Walmart. Drug deal going bad in the Walmart parking lot. Thugs had their guns out. Concealed carrier across the way saw what was happening. Came out with his gun up, his finger ready to fire. Sights aimed. Not a shot was fired. Police arrived. It was all taken care of. Because this guy could carry a concealed weapon. How many times does this happen? This is right in my neighborhood. So how many times does this happen? People can be trusted with freedom. People can be trusted. The thing is, guns are a constitutional amendment. But so is the right to assemble. So is the right to free speech. How come we're losing everything? How come we can't live the way we want to during COVID-19? How come we need the government to tell us what to do? We have proven. We've got guns. We've proven we can be trusted with freedom. We've got deadly weapons, but we don't use them. We don't use them for killing purposes. Some idiots do. Many of the guns out there, right? Most of the guns people get shot with and murdered with are illegal guns. Illegal people have them. Making laws is not going to change a thing. Guns are going to be available on the black market. Guess what? The black market doesn't do background checks. Never will. Never will. So this bill, 1138, I hope it passes. Despite Jeff Bickford. It's going to make, everything's going to be dangerous. People are going to get shot. Well, constitutional carry didn't cause it to happen. Everybody can have a gun now, wherever they go. Wherever they go. Except in no gun-free zones. Schools, federal buildings, federal premises. Where do a lot of shootings, mass shootings, take place? That would be gun-free zones. Wasn't that interesting? Gun-free zones aren't where most of the shootings take place. Most of the shootings take place in, the inner city. Well, they're domestic. A lot of them are domestic. And others, most of them are people in the commission of a crime. A lot of gang violence in the bigger cities. Don't think gangs aren't coming to Maine. I've talked to police. They've seen gang activity. Luckily, we haven't been overwhelmed with a lot of shootings in the state of Maine. Maine's still the safest state in the country. There's something else for you to put in your pipe and smoke, Jeff Bickford of the Maine Gun Safety Coalition, trying to justify his work. Well, I got to speak out about something. Might as well speak out about this. Might as well say that this is going to cause mass mayhem and deaths everywhere. Bullets are going to be flying like the old West, and blood's going to be rolling in the gutters. Might as well use this one. Why? 5 years, you've had constitutional carry. And what have you got after 5 years with Gun Safety Coalition? You got nothing. You got nothing. We're still the safest state in the union, even after all that. You got nothing. You know who else is a constitutional carry state? We've got New Hampshire with Rhino Chris Sununu, and we've got Vermont, which is just I can't even imagine how Vermont has constitutional carry, but they do. No other New England state does. In fact, this is actually a cluster of states, and the rest of the states are 15 in all, have constitutional carry. We're a cluster in this part of the country. Northeast, this is such a liberal part of the country that the whole area does not have constitutional carry, just Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Did you know that? You can't carry a gun to Massachusetts. Oh, my word. You can carry a gun. You can carry your gun across the state lines. You can drive into New Hampshire. You can drive into Vermont. You can drive around the White Mountains and the Green Mountains. You can walk around. You can do whatever you want with your firearm by your side. But if you walk from southern New Hampshire, from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, if you walk from a southern New Hampshire town, I don't know, is Portsmouth on the border, I guess. If you walk from there into Massachusetts, as soon as you cross that Massachusetts line, you are a felon. Did you know that? You are in America. In America, this is how the Second Amendment works in America. You can go from live free or die, New Hampshire, and you step over across into the Bay State, and you are immediately a felon in your own country. And you can be arrested, your gun can be taken, and you'll have to get a lawyer, and you'll have to go to court, and you'll probably have to pay a fine and do jail time. And good luck getting a permit in Massachusetts if you're not from Massachusetts. I don't know what your best bet, I'll be honest with you, your best bet if you want to be able to go to a bunch of different states with a gun permit is to get the Utah permit. And I'm not sure what states that covers, but it covers a lot more. Maine covers quite a few, actually. I think we're good in Florida and some other states. I'm not sure which ones. I don't think Massachusetts is one of them. I'm pretty sure it's not. New York certainly isn't. New York hates guns. They got the SAFE Act. So anyway, we hope this LD 1138 passes, and hopefully we're going to be able to get somebody on the air to talk about that soon. Thank you for the emails. I'm getting emails, private messages from people with, looks like good stuff. But unfortunately, I can't listen to it during the show. I will review it and hopefully be able to use some of this stuff tomorrow. It's 10:28 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. So Kamala Harris, you know, if you want to know somebody who's really anti-gun, you look at Joe Biden, obviously. You look at Chuck Schumer, and you look at the rest of the dingbats there on the liberal left. But I don't think there's anybody who is more anti-gun than Kamala Harris. And I'll tell you why. I don't know if you've noticed, but whenever there's a shooting that's newsworthy, and there are lots of shootings that are not newsworthy, they never get mentioned in the news because they don't suit a narrative. But as soon as there's a shooting that suits the leftist narrative, it makes national news. One of the first people that MSNBC goes to is Kamala Harris because they know how much she hates guns. She hates guns, and she wants to make as many laws as she can to take legal guns out of the hands of legal gun owners because it'll make America safer. And she always brings up, all they can do is bring up the Newtown massacre, Sandy Hook. She did it this past weekend. She was on CNN with Dana Bash, or Dana Bash. I don't know how you say her name. Spelled Dana. I'm going to go with Dana. So she talks about Newtown, the Sandy Hook massacre. That was Newtown, right? And it was so sad. And it was very sad. But stop it. Stop it, Kamala. Stop it. I mean, milk it for all you can, why don't you? Same way they do with January 6th. You don't hear about any of the riots last year. The takeover of Seattle downtown, the Occupy Seattle movement. What was it called? CHOP? They changed it. CHOP to Chives. I don't know. Chad. Chad? CHOP to Chad. So you had that. You had the endless still going on in Portland, Oregon. All the time, there's still violence going on, and you never hear them mention it, but they cannot leave January 6th alone, because that was, according to Biden, a day that will live in infamy. That was our Pearl Harbor. No, forget about 9/11/2001. No, that's past history. We're done throwing any Islamic terrorists under the bus. No, we're focused on our Pearl Harbor. It is domestic terrorists and that armed insurrection on January 6th. They just are so stupid. They're so transparent. But the thing is, they're followers, and they're followers. They're cult members. It's like the Jim Jones cult. They followed Jim Jones to Jonestown. They drank the Kool-Aid. They died. It's like what was the cult there in Waco? I think you know what I'm talking about. They follow this David Koresh guy. Heaven's Gate, was that it? They follow this Koresh guy, and they all live and die for him. And that's what we're doing. That's what we see so many people on the left doing. They're living and complying, and they will die with their beliefs in the leftist party. And so they have to keep using emotions to string the people along. When they're talking about gun control, they have to bring up Sandy Hook. Have to. Why? Because it was back in 2012. It's something that should never be forgotten. But they take the wrong tack always. Instead of mental health, dealing with mental health and addressing that, instead of pursuing red flag. Yeah, there were red flags with the guy, was it Boulder? That guy, I told you, I said there would be red flags. You watch, there'll be red, and there were red flags that were ignored. Instead of dealing with what would make a difference, they always want to take guns, and they do that by playing on your emotions. And what better way than by saying, remember Sandy Hook? All these 6-year-old kids, and it was very sad. I cried that day seeing the parents, when they put the pictures of the students, I cried knowing what they must be going through, commiserating with them. You never could know. Hopefully you never will. But that was an incident. Maybe it could have, maybe it couldn't have been avoided. But there were definitely red flags. So we're always back to gun control. And Kamala Harris apparently doesn't think there are any background checks. And she is never one to miss an opportunity. She goes by, what was it, Rahm Emanuel, right? Back in the Obama administration, said we never let a good crisis go to waste. Well, Cammie's holding on to that Newtown, that Sandy Hook massacre. She holds every time there's a chance to promote her gun control agenda. You can count on it. Sometime during her speaking, Sandy Hook will come up because that makes people emotional. And they feel if I don't agree with her, then I'm a bad person. I want children to die. That's what she's suggesting. She is suggesting if you don't want gun control after what happened at Sandy Hook, you want 6-year-olds to die. That's the head game she's playing. These people are master manipulators. They really are. The left doesn't know they're being manipulated like puppets on a string, but they are by emotions. Here is Dana Bash with Cammie Harris on CNN Sunday.
Your administration has made clear that infrastructure is the next big legislative priority. Why not guns? Anthony Fauci told me over the weekend that gun violence is a public health emergency.
Fauci.
I would disagree. We
guy.
actually, as an administration, have taken action. The president issued executive orders, for example, on ghost guns, and there is only so much, however, that a president can do through executive action. This president, Joe Biden, has a long-standing history of speaking very clearly and unambiguously about the need for smart gun safety laws.
Never clearly.
Back from the time that he was in the Senate through today. But I guess that emphasizes the point that both when he was in the Senate, when I was in the Senate, same thing. We were pushing for legislation. Congress has to act.
Exactly.
Because we have to codify. That's a fancy word for make permanent, make the law that we agree we should have background checks. That's just reasonable gun safety laws. We should have an assault weapons ban. Assault weapons have been designed to kill a lot of people quickly.
Come on.
They are weapons of war. And Congress has to act, Dana.
They are weapons of war. They aren't assault weapons. First of all, you idiot. You phony. You Me Too phony idiot. Assault rifles are they're not assault rifle. You're talking about the AR-15 and other guns that you deem angry looking. They aren't assault weapons. I like to give this quiz to leftists. AR-15, what does the AR stand for? Assault rifle. Okay. All right. Is that what you think? Yeah. Final answer? Yeah. Clear. Assault rifle. And they're the first ones to say, we need gun control. Weapons of war. Assault rifle 15. Need to be banned. Oh, they love that too. They love the word banned. They'd ban everything. Everything. Well, like Bloomberg. When Bloomberg was in New York, he banned the big gulps, the big sodas. Banned them because people couldn't be trusted with freedom. If I want to have a fat ass and drink my supersized Slurpee, then I have the right to, Michael. But he didn't think it was good. Didn't think it was good. So this is what we deal with. We deal with people who want to control our lives. Kamala Harris is one of them. And the way they control our lives is by lying to us. By lying to us and telling us everything is bad for us. Or if they want us to do something, they tell us it is good for us. Be very afraid of this. I mean, look at the trends. Look at the trends. How long have they been telling us guns are evil, guns are bad, and not done anything about mental health and legitimate red flags? Like this guy that shot up the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas School in Parkland. And this guy had red flags all over him. Nobody did a thing. So what happens as soon as that shooting occurs? People mourn. We've got to get rid of AR-15s. We got to make gun laws. David Hogg goes out on his crusade with the backing of Madonna and all the big intellectual superstars. Oh, this kid is great. This kid is passionate. Yeah, he's passionate about the wrong thing. So they're telling you guns are bad. And guns are not. Guns are our freedom. They are our first freedom, our Second Amendment. At the same time, they're telling us the vaccine is good. So if you use the same argument for the vaccine that you use with guns. They tell us guns are evil, guns are bad, the AR-15 is a weapon of war, it's an assault rifle. That's a lie. They keep pushing, the vaccine is good, the vaccine is great, take the vaccine. Well, based on the previous argument, Dr. Fauci, all due respect, the vaccine is probably bad. If you are so feverishly and emphatically telling me it's good, it probably isn't. Based on what the party you seem to align with says about guns, which is they lie. And of course, the people on the left, the hacks on the left, the thirsty people, let's put it this way, the thirsty people drinking some Kool-Aid, they don't get it. They just believe what you tell them, that the assault rifle is a weapon of war and that the assault rifle is the AR-15. By the way, AR stands for Armalite Rifle. It was their creation. The Model 15 was their creation. The Armalite Rifle, Model 15, AR-15, not assault rifle. But they tell you these things are bad and they lie. And the people on the left believe what their leftist gods, who they worship, as is evident by the fact many of them wear masks when they're walking alone on a country road in the state of Maine. They believe whatever they're told, and they comply. People who comply, and I'm not saying compliance is always bad. What I'm saying with the government, yeah, it's usually bad. But what I am saying is when somebody asks you to comply, question it, research it, know every side of it before you decide, yeah, that's worthy of my compliance. I'm not saying the vaccine is or isn't. I am not. What I'm saying is I would question it. I think the evidence overall with the vaccines people are receiving now is pretty good. I think we've seen some pretty good results based on anecdotal evidence and reports from both sides. We've also seen some side effects that are a little unsavory. But we don't know the long-term effects. There are possible long-term effects I told you about earlier. You know, the Alzheimer's, triggering Alzheimer's or other cognitive possibilities, very minute, I'm sure. I will try to get more research on that because I want you to know. The left media will not tell you this. I just want you to know. You may still say, well, you know, it's worth the risk. I don't want to get COVID-19. I had a family member die from it. I get that. That's okay. But I just want you to know. I will not lie. They lie. Got to take a break here. It's 10:43 right now. We're Legacy 1160 WSKW. Share the video, share the love, share the show, share the freedom. We'll be right back. It is, did I tell you who we are? Pep Rally Freedom, Legacy 1160. I'm John James. I think we covered all that. Stay there.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
Not all bed liners are alike. Line-X spray-on bed liners offer protection from every angle with no lost cargo space, as well as protection from cracking, bubbling, and peeling with a factory-like finish and a nationwide guarantee. See the difference for yourself at Line-X of Augusta, 509 Main Avenue, Farmingdale, your authorized Line-X dealer. Your truck is your baby, and Line-X of Augusta has some sharp accessories that'll make your ride stand out. From truck caps and tonneau covers, Nerf bars, cargo management, towing supplies, mud flaps, and ladder racks to chrome accents. Dress up your ride today at Line-X of Augusta, 509 Main Avenue, Farmingdale.
Spring is the time for renewal for both you and your home. So brighten your day and your surroundings with great items from Townline Antiques. Do you love classic decor? You'll find furniture, artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more pieces around every corner. Their classic colors and styles will have you thinking spring and feeling invigorated every time you see them. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Townline Antiques has rare items that you won't find anywhere else. Townline is also showcasing a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. Each piece is one of a kind, with its own unique flair of colors and form. You simply have to see them to appreciate their beauty. And for everyone who loves to bring items back to life, they're now carrying high-quality fusion mineral paints that give you beautiful color and a durable, long-lasting finish. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
Electrical repair should never be done without the knowledge of how to do it safely. Better yet, skip that stress and let Kennebec Electric and Lighting take care of it for you. Kennebec Electric has offered professional electric and lighting service and expert installation in homes and businesses for over 37 years, and they stand behind that experience with a guarantee on all their work. Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing, including installations and repairs at 861-7028 or online at KennebecElectric.com.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Partly to mostly sunny this morning, starting off cool but warming up quickly with highs in the mid-60s and mostly sunny skies. Chance for showers tomorrow morning and again through the afternoon and evening. Some thunderstorms are possible during the evening. Highs will be in the upper 50s and 60s, warmest north. A steadier rain moves in late Thursday into Friday.
Hey, welcome back. I'm John James, and this is Freedom's Pep Rally. Still hour 2, isn't it? We still got over an hour left. Goody. A lot of stuff to get to. A little bit more on guns here I want you to know about. This is big news, too. This is not little news. These are not little things. This new law in Maine is not going to be a little thing. That's why I want to talk about it with Lauren LePage or John Andrews. Coming up, hopefully we'll be able to get one of them on the air tomorrow. We will see. John Andrews is a representative from Buckfield, the Buckfield area, and he is a libertarian. He's a libertarian, and he's a pro-gun guy, and I love it. And he wants self-defense front and center for people so we don't get in trouble if we want to protect somebody we love when we're not home. Or somebody we don't know, but somebody who is being... how helpless would you feel? I don't think any person carrying a weapon. And by the way, before we go on here, one of the big gripes about this from this gun safety coalition in Maine, one of the big problems this guy points out, and he's right in a way. He's right in the sense that people without training can take a gun, they can go buy a gun, and they can put it in a holster, and they can carry a concealed weapon. That's it. You make a trip to the store, you get a gun, and boom, you're off. You're good to go. But this is where respect for your freedoms comes in. You want to this is a gun is a tool. A gun is not considered for self-defense. We don't consider it a weapon, like a weapon of war. It's a tool. It is a tool, whether you use it for target practicing, which many do, for competing, which many do, for hunting, which many more do, or for self-defense. In all of those cases, your gun is not a weapon. It is a tool in your arsenal. But the left will never refer to it as a tool. They're tools. See what I did there? Clever, huh? So you think about it that way, and you understand that when you get new tools, the first thing you understand about this tool is there is a learning curve to it. Like when I went out and I bought a new Dremel last year. I never had a Dremel. I know how to use a Dremel. I knew what it did. I knew what it was supposed to do. Never used one. So I watched some YouTube videos and I played around with it. And before I used it before I got serious with it, and I bought it for a purpose, I had to cut some of my window frame out because I had to replace, they're called pivot shoes. If you're ever wondering in double hung windows what the little things that your window sits in and then you tip it up, and the spring-loaded strings or springs or whatever you have in your windows helps it go up and down. Otherwise, it's just very heavy and it won't stay up without these springs. The things that the window sets in, the little ears on the window, you set it into the pivot shoes. That's what they're called. And you stick it in there and you turn it, and it turns those pivot shoes and frees up the spring to pull the window up. See, you learn something new if you're wondering, what the hell do you call it? I don't know what to ask for. What do you call these stupid things? They're little things that in the window. No, I'm helping you out here. You got double hung windows. You got problems with the little thingers. Sometimes the metal breaks or whatever. They are called pivot shoes. And that's how you find them online. And you can order them. And they come in all different sizes. You got to be careful. So I got my Dremel, and I went through the instructions, and I tried it, messing around with it on some stuff I didn't care about, and I learned to use it, and now I'm pretty good with it. And it's the best tool I've ever bought. I can't tell you how much I have enjoyed that Dremel. It is amazing. Anybody, can I get a witness here? A Dremel is the most amazing thing ever. It comes with so many different, there's little saws and little files and little polishers, and it's amazing. Get a Dremel. Battery operated too, so I don't have to have an extension. I got to tell you, as much as I harp on the battery generation when it comes to cars and all these electric vehicles and stuff like that, if batteries ever become viable for vehicles, I'm telling you, I'm saying not now, when it's viable, when there are places you can go anywhere to charge up and it's as quick as filling up with gas, and they last a long, long time, and they don't run out every 100 miles. Believe me, I am on that battery bandwagon because I love my battery-powered drills and my battery-powered saw, my battery-powered Dremel. Why, I even have a battery-powered lawnmower, which I love. It's great. It's by Ego. They're very expensive, I will tell you that. But it's not like buying an electric car. It's not going to cost you your firstborn. It'll cost you a little bit more money. But whoa, it'll do my whole lawn. And I got a pretty big lawn with hills and everything. Not only is it battery powered and cuts the grass nice and is very quiet, but it's also self-propelled. So it has that. It's self-propelled lawnmower. It does my whole lawn, including the hills. It's great. I love it. So anyway, back to guns. Guns are a tool. When you get a gun, understand the first thing, the first order of business is like any other tool, you need to learn how to use it. Well, it's easy. You load it and you shoot it. Why not? Not so fast. I've hunted my whole, not so fast. A handgun is a different animal, for one thing. Handgun is different. I mean, the whole thing will fit in one hand. So in one hand, you can be holding the gun and you can accidentally put your finger on the trigger and fire off a round. It's not that hard. How many times have you heard somebody, well, you accidentally shot the gun off walking out of the gun show? That's a true story, not in Maine that I know of. The gun accidentally went off. There's a video on YouTube. You can find it. Police officer shoots himself in foot. Look that one up. That's a cop. This is a cop. And he's teaching a class, I guess, on gun safety. No, he didn't die. I wouldn't be laughing. But he was teaching a class, I presume it was on gun safety. He was talking about his gun. He had a Glock. And he's talking, and all of a sudden, bang, and oh, it's like a Bugs Bunny movie, or it's like Elmer Fudd. And you can find it on YouTube, and the guy, the cop, the trained man, and this ought to make you question your own abilities, too, before you go out without any knowledge with a new gun. So he shoots himself in the foot, and he's in pain. And I don't know, and he didn't mean to. He was holding the gun, apparently not paying attention. How many times does your mind wander during the day and you find yourself doing something that you don't even realize you're doing? Or you're talking about something else and you're fidgeting. I'm telling you. So gun training is tantamount to being a responsible gun owner. You have to learn, you have to pay for classes to learn how to use a gun safely, how to store a gun, how to load a gun, how to handle a gun. Never have your finger on the trigger till your sights are on the target. That's a rule. That's one of the safety rules. And you learn all this stuff, and you practice this stuff. Gun skills are perishable skills. You need to get to the range. You need to practice. You need to go over your gun safety in your own head and take courses online even. And there are plenty of places in Maine where you can go to learn. But learn. Just saying, it's a tool. The left will never tell you that. If the left was really, really as smart as they believe they are, they would say, okay, a gun is a tool. It can be used for good. It can be used for fun. It can be used for hunting, for food. But you've got to know how to use it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to mandate that schools have a non-elective course for whatever age, pick an age, high school, grammar school, middle, I don't care. Grammar school would be good to start with. We're going to have a non-elective course, and I'm sorry, you may have to put on hold your critical race theory class, but we're going to have the NRA come in, and we're going to have them teach the whole student body about gun safety, what to do if you find a gun, what to do if you see a gun on the ground, what to do, how to be safe about it, what to do with a gun if you're going to purchase one, how to be safe with a gun in the house if you see somebody putting a gun down where it's unsafe. What do you tell them? How do you deal with it? This would be a good if the left was smart, if they were constitutional thinking, but they are not. They're control thinking. They don't want guns. They don't care about gun safety, but they'll be the first ones to complain and moan if somebody uses a gun unsafely. Well, he should have known better than that, or he shouldn't have had a gun. Well, why don't you mandate gun training for schools? The NRA is a gun safety organization. The very organization you want to get rid of teaches gun safety. Guns aren't going away. If the NRA goes away, you are losing a big resource for teaching kids and other people about gun safety. In fact, they sanction most of the gun trainers in America. They are NRA sanctioned. So what are you doing? You're taking guns, something that's a constitutional amendment. You are trying to take some away from us. And you are trying to eliminate one of the biggest safety teachers of this tool in America. What could possibly go wrong? I'm John James. We'll be back next hour. We've got more stuff to get to, lots more stuff. There was a rally in New Hampshire. We brought up critical race theory. Amazing. You have got to hear this. We're going to cover some critical race theory stuff. And New Hampshire. Don't think this isn't coming to Maine. There are already people in Maine pushing for this. I have heard about it from anecdotes, from people private messaging me on Facebook. Critical race theory is coming to Maine. Pushback. That's all I'm going to tell you. You are going to hear some amazing people in New Hampshire this past weekend talking about it. Stick around. I'll be back. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
This is Molly from Rod Cyclin RV. We're about a year into the pandemic, and we're all searching for some sort of normalcy. Picture yourself sitting by the campfire with friends and family, your favorite drink in hand, sharing stories and laughing. I bet you thought of a specific night. We want to help you find your normal. We have a large selection of new and pre-loved travel trailers and fifth wheels, fully stocked parts store, and the best camper service around. Rod Cyclin RV, Route 201 Madison, or online at rodcycleandrv.com. We're not trying to be the biggest, but always trying to be the best.
Incense and Peppermints doesn't just have a huge selection of scrumptious candies. They have sweet treats that'll bring back wonderful memories every time you share them. Incense and Peppermints has candy that's fun for the whole family, like Jelly Bellies, Smarties, Turkish Taffy, Mellow Cups, Laffy Taffy, and Necco wafers. And candy that'll take you on a trip down memory lane, like old-fashioned penny candies, root beer barrels, atomic fireballs, Mary Jane's Bit of Honey, and Jawbreakers. They even carry Maine favorites like Moose Poop and Saltwater Taffy. Incense and Peppermints, 48 Main Street in downtown Waterville.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan. A new ABC News Washington Post poll shows that 22% of Americans took a financial hit during the pandemic. 14% saw their finances improve. The rest of those surveyed said their financial health stayed about the same. Those making $50,000 a year or less were much more likely to have taken a hit than those making six figures. The CDC is expected to announce new guidance today on fully vaccinated people and wearing masks. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Ryan Rivera.
I think we'd expect to hear a loosening of restrictions in regards to mask wearing outdoors. We've learned a lot about the virus in the last year, and recent research really shows that a very small proportion of infections, really less than 10%, happen outdoors.
President Biden is preparing to sign an executive order to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour for federal contractors. The 2020 census numbers are out. The U.S. has just under 331 million people. This is ABC News. Home prices are on the rise across the country. The February 20-city Case-Shiller Home Price Index jumped by nearly 12% compared to a year ago. Prices are rising the fastest in Phoenix, San Diego, and Seattle, driven by high demand and a limited supply of homes on the market. Israel is dismissing new accusations leveled by the group Human Rights Watch.
Preposterous and false. Israel's foreign ministry staunchly rejecting allegations in a new Human Rights Watch report that Israel systematically denies basic rights to Arab citizens and Palestinians. Dismissing the word apartheid, Israeli officials emphasizing Arab citizens have full rights and calling restrictions on Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza a temporary matter of national security. But Palestinian leaders praising the HRW report for exposing what they call the suffering of Palestinians under occupation, which they say includes land grabs and restrictions on rights and freedom of movement.
That's ABC's Jordana Miller in Jerusalem. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
How can I feel as good at the end of the day as I felt at the beginning?
The All-33 Backstrong chair makes it possible.
Well, how about tech that can triple the size of my monitor when I'm on the go?
With the Mobile Pixel Trio, it's possible.
How can my small business make a strong impression?
It's possible with the iPostal One virtual mailbox. Welcome to Staples Connect, a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or at staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store.
All right, welcome back. I'm your host, the friendliest host in the world. Yes, I've upgraded myself. It was America, now it's the world. We need freedom and love and peace and love and everything all over the world. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if the world was perfect, but it's not. It's not going to be. We're not infallible. So that's why we always have to try to make ourselves better. I was having this discussion with my wife this morning. She's, when we're always working on attitudes, always. And she hit a nerve with me this morning. She said, I said something the other day, and it was sort of judgmental against, a group of people. Not. It wasn't a racist thing. It was just a certain group of people she knows. And she made a comment. She thought, that wasn't right to call somebody, to group everybody into one. She said, I've got to change my attitude. And I thought, that's true. I mean, we all do things, and we say, or somebody will call us out. I get called out on things, and I'll say, you're right. You're right. That was kind of mean. And I feel bad. And I try to change the way I think. And it's not an easy thing to do. As you know, especially when you get older, they say you get set in your ways. Whoo, boy, I'll tell you, is that the truth? And I guess in many things I am set in my ways. But I'm not so, egocentric as to think that, I can't change for the better in any way. I'm as good as I'll get. No, I wish I was a lot better than what I am. And I think most people are in the same boat. And we can all try to do better, changing our attitudes and things. But I mean that, and I'm not saying that when I call out the left for what they are. This is a thing. This is how I feel. Call me set in my ways for that. But the left is, they are, it's okay to group them into what you think they are, because it is what they are. They are not freedom lovers. And I'm not talking about all your friends and neighbors who happen to be on the left. They're just useful idiots. I mean, this is not to be rude, but they are being as led by the left as, they are by Dr. Fauci. I don't know if he's left or not, but he speaks and people respond. Governor Mills speaks and people respond. People stand up for Janet Mills like she was God. Now, I'm not saying Janet Mills, our governor of the great state of Maine, is a bad person. There are a lot of good people with evil intentions, with evil ideas. They don't even know they're corrupted. But over time, it becomes who they are. They become set in their ways. In their way, and when you think about people like Janet Mills, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, how long, Dianne Feinstein and others, how long have they been in office? They are set in their ways. You aren't going to change them. You aren't going to be able to argue any sense into their heads, because their way is the only way, is the right way. They need an attitude change, but you're never, ever going to change their attitude. They would never, even if they thought they were wrong, trust me, they wouldn't swallow their pride. Chuck Schumer fancies himself the best there is. Nancy Pelosi, I don't know what she thinks about herself. She's just bizarre. She's just a very bizarre person. But these people are dangerous. No, I'm not going to change my attitude on that. Sorry, not going to happen. I'm going to continue telling you the truth about how evil and corrupt their intentions are, because they follow different gods than we do. Their moral system is different. Like the Prager University piece I played for you yesterday. Their gauge as to whether or not somebody is good or evil are three compasses. It is the power compass, it's the class compass, it's the race compass. Now, if you fall into one or all three of those areas, you're weak, you're a minority, or you're poor, they love you. If you are powerful like Israel, they hate you. If you are powerful like America, they hate you. They hate us. They hate their own country. I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm not going to change my attitude for that. That is the absolute truth. And one of the ways they're dividing us, one of the ways I'm going to get to this hour is with race. Okay, hear me. When I say this, the left loves racism. They are set in their ways. They will never convince themselves that America isn't systemically racist. And they have convinced all of their followers who call you a racist and a white supremacist out there. I'm talking about young virtue signaling white guy, pasty white guys. I've had a pasty white guy call me a racist, call me a white supremacist, call me a denier, ask me to check my privilege. Oh, who died and left you, boss? I couldn't believe it. I thought, is this happening? Is some white guy calling me racist? For what? For what? What have I ever done? I've done nothing in my life that's racist. I've got friends who are black. I've got friends who are Asian. I've never said a bad word about anybody. Except the Democrats. How dare you? But this is what they want. And so they're useful idiots, you know who you are, or maybe not, are giving it to them. Let's talk about race and how it's affecting America and how it's going to continue to affect America. Well, I was just going through this stuff. There is just so much stuff. I can't even believe it. Some funny stuff I'd like to get to, but we aren't going to have time today. Let's talk about media bias right now. First, let's start with race and media bias. And as I told you last hour, and I'm serious about this, critical race theory is coming to New Hampshire under Chris Sununu, the governor, the Republican, so-called Republican, the rhino governor. Chris Sununu. Critical race theory. Here it comes. Big rally on it Saturday. We're going to hear some great pieces from that on the way. The major networks, taking their cues from the DNC and the progressives, have been misreporting facts, and they always do this. They misreport facts, they underreport facts, or they just omit them. And I'm talking about misreporting facts in incidents involving police. And why do they do it? Why do they misreport the facts? Because they don't know? Well, hell, I find out. How can I find this stuff out? I don't have a team of network executives out gathering information for me. Apparently, neither do they. They're just going through the motions. Because if it's available to me, it's available to them, but they won't report it. And they're doing it for the sake of creating more racial tension, not less. They want more racial tension. And they want people to hate the police. Those are two agenda items. Those are two means to the end. Power and control. Means we love racism, we hate police. End, power and control. The end, by the way, is always the same. The power, the means are they vary. There are a lot of different means. One end, but different means. So we're talking about the racist means to an end. And this highlights why the government is so dangerous and why news media, propaganda media, which CNN recently said they were They said they admitted, a bigwig in CNN admitted to the Veritas Project to a hot babe. That's what it takes to get to these network boys. Oh, yeah, you get a hot babe. Veritas Project. Oh, I tell you, James O'Keefe is some smart. He got some good-looking woman to start asking questions of this guy, CNN, and he talked like a parrot. Yeah, I'd consider us propaganda. We worked hard to take Trump down, and we didn't report bad things about Joe Biden. This is all on tape, by the way. And now now that we've got Joe Biden in office, they're the omnipotent ones. Now we're gonna focus on climate change. You're gonna scare people? Yeah, we're gonna scare them. CNN said all this. So there's your media in this country. I'm telling you, go to Sky News in Australia or England. If you want to get facts about the United States, true facts, real reporting, journalism, go to Sky News. They have a lot more of it than CNN or MSNBC does. So pro-Black Lives Matter, pro-Democrat, and pro-progressive bias in network newscasts has been surging recently. This is a fact. And now after listen, now here's some evidence. After one network edited an image of a boy holding a gun, that would be the kid in Chicago, Toledo, Adam Toledo. They edited Adam Toledo. He was holding a gun, and they edited the video to show him without a gun. When the police shot him, he had just tossed the gun, just tossed it. If you see the video, he just threw the gun, and the cop had already committed. I mean, it was too late at that point. Kid had plenty of time to drop the gun, but he didn't. He held on to it as long as he could. And when the police pulled the gun on him, then he tossed his. Well, that's stupid. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Sad he was a 13-year-old boy, but he was out hanging around with a 21-year-old gangbanger at 3 o'clock in the morning while the gangbanger was shooting at cars passing on the roadway. And Nancy Pelosi, or AOC, one of them said, well, Adam Toledo should be at home. His mother should be tucking him into his bed tonight. Yeah, I'm sure this kid who's out at 3 o'clock in the morning with a gangbanger, I'm sure that's just what would be happening if he was still alive. He'd be at home and mama would be tucking him into bed. Give me a break. Again, feelings. They play on feelings. They lie, they omit, they play on feelings. This is their modus operandi. This is how they control their lemmings. Their lemmings, I'm surprised that people can talk. They're not just walking around, yeah. What do you want me to say today? Joe, Kamala, what should I say today? Tell me and I'll post it on Twitter and Facebook. I mean, they're literally, they're cult members. It's a sect. It's dangerous. It's like Heaven's Gate. It's like Jonestown, Jim Jones. So you have this one network, CBS, editing the video so the kid didn't have a gun, makes it look like the police just murdered this kid. A second network hid the knife in the hands of this girl in Columbus who was actively trying to stab another girl. Police shot her. They didn't want you to see the knife. Police just murdered another one. I think that was NBC. And NBC's report on the death of Makia, no, that must have been ABC. So you got CBS, you get ABC. And NBC, the report of the death of Makia Bryant, she is the woman who was stabbing the victim, omitted the comment when they played back the 911 call. They omitted a very important part of the 911 call. They admitted the phrase, she's trying to stab us. So in all cases, if you're a leftist, if you happen to come here by mistake, listen to this. In all those cases, your networks intentionally omitted information to make it seem like the person the police killed was the victim, not the aggressor. Do you understand what they're doing? Do you understand how dangerous this is? And do you understand the leftists believe it without question? They don't question anything. They have no curiosity. I have so much curiosity about everything. I want to know why. Why'd she get shot? What was she doing? Why did the cop do this? Tell me more. But is there no curiosity out there? They don't care. They hear a narrative and they go protest. They become violent. They burn down buildings. They smash windows. They steal liquor. The American conservative movement explained, quote, those who get their information from NBC News likely think Ma'Khia Bryant was randomly shot by police just because she was black. The commentary continued. NBC News wants the latest death to be seen as an unnecessary act of unproved murder of a young black girl by a white police officer based on the way they're reporting it. The TV news, it's not news. It's not, how dare they call it news? It's not news. They might as well put a big propaganda on there instead of news. Replace news with the truth. At least then I'd say, okay, well, there you go. So it's the cable news propagandists or cable propaganda network, CPN. There you go. That's truth. I can live with that. Go ahead, report what you want now. At least you're saying what it is. MSNBC. I mean, news doesn't go anywhere near NBC. News doesn't go anywhere near NBC. Chuck Todd made sure of it. So there you go. NBC is a very dangerous network. So is MSNBC. They control both those big networks, both well-watched. And it goes to show that people don't require much. They don't expect much. They don't demand much from their news. They are sitting there taking stock in every story that comes out of the mouths of people like racist Joy Reid, racist Al Sharpton, who should be nowhere near a TV station. Lion Brian Williams, the guy who has stolen valor on his resume, who lost his job at NBC Nightly News because he lied about being shot at in a helicopter. Well, I guess it slipped my mind. It slipped your mind? Excuse me? Oh, yeah, that's right. We weren't shot at in a helicopter. Darn, my memory's failing me. Well, you shouldn't be reporting anything. I'm not lying to you. That's Brian. That's what he said. Oh, I must have mistaken. I must have conflated that with. Spare us. Spare us your stupidity. Please, Lion Brian. It's 11:23 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. So before we get to the New Hampshire rally, and this is great. This is going to be epic. I want you to share this with as many people as you can. If you can, if you want to. You know, send them to Legacy 1160 WSK, legacy1160.com. They can listen to the stream. They listen to the stream audio right there, listen live, or they can watch the video there. But this is stuff that's happening right next door to us that I think you ought to hear because it is coming to Maine. It'll start in southern Maine, or maybe not, but typically it starts in southern Maine. That's where I got the information from that they'd heard rumblings of critical race theory coming to Maine. Just before we get to that, though, I want to play you something I picked up yesterday from Tulsi Gabbard, former Hawaii Democratic presidential candidate and congresswoman from Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard, who I really like, Tulsi Gabbard. She issued a plea. She issued a plea to put racialism aside, behind us. Put it behind us. And coming from a woman of color, I think that's a fine thing, and I think that's very responsible, and I wish more would do it. More of anybody on the left. anybody on the left. But they won't. They have to fuel the fire. Whereas Democrat Tulsi Gabbard is trying to quench the fire. That, in my mind, is the type of liberal I remember, the type of Democrat I remember growing up with. We all could agree on a lot of things. I agree with Tulsi Gabbard on a lot. She even nailed the race-baiting propaganda mainstream media. How about that? Listen, here is a little bit of Tulsi Gabbard's video. But mind you, she needed a windscreen. It was very windy wherever she was, but you can understand her.
My dear friends, my fellow Americans, please let us stop the racialization of everyone and everything. It's racialism. We are all children of God and are therefore family in the truest sense, no matter our race or ethnicity. This is aloha, and this is what our country and the world need. For the mainstream propaganda media and politicians, they want us to constantly focus on our skin color and the skin color of others because it helps them politically or financially.
It does. It absolutely does. It helps them politically or financially. Control and power, means to an end. I know you're seeing this now. You're seeing everything. Now you're looking and you're saying, I see everything as a means. I see everything as a means to their end. You're right. Now, we are all children of God. And we are, for the most part, colorblind. At least we try to be. Right? We try to be colorblind. If we're not forced into seeing color. But critical race theory coming to Maine, it's in New Hampshire. There's a bill right now. They're trying to keep it out of the curriculum. But Chris Sununu said, bring it on. So it's being taught at schools. And the media and the leftist politicians demand not that we be colorblind, but that we see color. Meaning we recognize race. Because after all, if you're white, you are by birthright, you are, whether you know it or not, a white supremacist. That's the left. You should be guilty. You should feel guilty. Raphael Warnock, the deplorable communist senator from Georgia who was elected in a fraudulent election, thanks in part to Stacey, I lost Georgia but will never admit it, Abrams. A phony and a mook. Raphael Warnock, America needs to apologize for its worship of whiteness. I worship God. So I worship. I don't have time to worship a skin color. If I worship anything, it's my next meal. The Red Barn that I'm maybe getting tonight. The Big Mac I might get later. That's what I'm worshiping on earth. I'm not worshiping skin color. I could care less what color the guy working next to me or sitting next to me or hanging out with me or out shooting with me is. I don't give a rat's behind. As long as they're a good person, I don't care. I don't care. Skin color is stupid. Stupid. STOOOPID. Stupid. It's dumb. It's superficial. It is so superficial. Stop making us see color. There are racists. Well, we've got to get rid of them. We can't get rid of them. We can try to change people's minds, to try to change people's hearts. I believe, you may feel differently, I believe only God can truly change the heart of people. I've seen it happen. I have seen it happen. Racism isn't going to go away because you make laws, because you excoriate police, because you change the judicial system or the public safety system, reimagine everything, create a utopia. Racism is not going to go away. So based on that, because we know nobody is perfect in this world, there are always going to be racists. There are always going to be criminals. There are always going to be killers. There just are. I don't care how good your society, how good your country, how good your government is. There are always going to be bad people. Bad people. No matter what you do. So what are you going to do? You're going to lock them up in re-education camps? That's what Katie Couric said, basically. That Katie Couric. You talk about a loser to the umpteenth degree, to the umpteenth power. Katie Couric, on with Bill Maher, said that Trump supporters need to be re-educated. They need to be sent to did she say re-education camps? Something similar. That's what she meant. So is this what the ultimate goal of the left is? They get the power, they get the control, then the people who disagree with what they want to do get locked away, like China. They get sent to concentration camps, like the Uyghur Muslims, that nobody talks about. Oh, we've got all kinds of praise for China. China's overtaken us. Now, right now, this morning, at, let's see, what time is it? At 11:31 on a Tuesday morning, China is busy overtaking America. Yep, it's true. It is true. It was on full display on Friday. I don't think we'll have time to get to that today, but we will tomorrow. Oh, that's going to take a little time, but you ought to hear it. So, anyway, you've got these virtue signaling white people out there who follow along with the mantra of the left. Racism is everywhere. White people are racist. We need to transform society. White people suck. You are evil. If you are white, you are evil. Wait until you hear what some of the people in New Hampshire, black people, had to say. You will not believe it. Now, if you are or you know a biracial couple, did you know that there are schools that are teaching kids of biracial parents to only identify with the black parent because the white parent is the corrupt one? Did you know that? I didn't. You will. You're going to hear it from one of our black voices coming up. First, though, I want to remind you of what critical race theory is. We've done this once before. This is a social justice warrior white teacher doing a Zoom class with a black student. Teacher puts a picture of two women on the screen. This is in Georgia, by the way. These two women are standing back to back. They look happy. They look at ease. They're just hanging out, just chilling, as the black student says. One woman is black, one is white. That's the only thing that's different, really. I mean, they look different. They're different people, different hairstyles. But they both look content. Both look very happy and just relaxed. The kid in this audio is great. However, the teacher, the white virtue signaling teacher, becomes more and more agitated as this black kid refuses to see race, refuses to see that there is an evil white person in the picture. So that sets it up pretty well for you. Let's give this a listen now. This is actually from a Zoom class in Georgia.
The story behind this picture, I'd rather hold on to that. Just tell me what this seems to be a picture of.
It's just two people chilling.
Just two people chilling.
Right, just two people. There's nothing more to this picture?
He couldn't leave it alone, though.
Nah, not really. Just two people chilling.
Two people chilling. That's all he sees.
I don't believe that you believe that. I don't believe that you look at this as just two people. I don't think
truly is just two people, though, is it not?
Fueling the hate.
Yeah, but I think you're being intentionally coy about what this is.
What are you being coy about?
The kid's great.
It's two people standing back to back in a picture.
This kid is great.
Yeah, and that's all you see.
That's all you see.
I'm confused on what you would like me to speak on in that
I
sense.
don't think you are. I don't know why you do this. I'm not trying to call you out. But
the teacher is racist.
You come out off of mute to talk about what this is a picture of, and you act as if there's nothing noticeable about this apart from the fact that they're two people.
So racist.
Well, I'm confused. Are you trying to get me to say that there are two different races in this picture?
Yes,
is that what
yes.
Well, at the end of the day, wouldn't that just be feeding into the problem of looking at race instead of just acknowledging them as two normal people?
Love this. I want to give this kid a
No,
hug.
it's not, because you can't look at the people and not acknowledge that there are racial differences, right?
But if we're going for, let's say if we're looking for equality within all this, then why would we need to point out things such as that?
Because those differences are real things. You can't.
Oh, okay. So this teacher went to college to become a teacher, and this kid is schooling him. Boom! This kid schooled that white virtue signaling moron who was racist, undeniably racist. And this is what they are going to do to our kids, because all kids aren't as smart or as astute as this kid. Well, I'm not calling kids dumb, but kids have different sensitivities, different feelings. They can be led more easily than others. That's what makes us diverse. Some kids you can lie and lie and lie and lie to, and they will believe it, and you will make them into little believers of lies. And that's what this is. This kid wasn't buying it. Isn't this just feeding into the problem if we want equality? Right. But the left doesn't want equality. The left wants racism. Bingo. And with that, let's talk about what happened in New Hampshire last weekend. Saturday, there was a rally to stop critical race theory indoctrination. That's what it was called. They had a pile of speakers of different races and ethnicities speaking something the left doesn't speak very often: truth. The ruling class is lying, and their followers are ignorant sheep. It's just the way it is. They are ignorant sheep. Except no substitutes. That's what they are. Well, they're not really ignorant. Yeah, they are. They aren't really sheep. Well, yeah, they are. Minus the wool. Right? They're completely clueless. I don't care if they're college professors, musicians, actors, teachers, brain surgeons, anything else. Just because they're educated does not mean they aren't ignorant. You probably know somebody in every profession I just mentioned that fits that ignorant description to a T, right? So here comes the truth from our neighbor to the west, where the speakers were unafraid and Governor Chris Sununu was not present, nor was he wanted. He is by definition a rhino, Republican in name only. Now, this first piece is from a woman called Dr. Dr. Karlin Borisenko. Dr. Borisenko is a PhD and an organizational psychologist, consultant, executive coach, and as the creator and owner of Zen Workplace. That sounds like a very liberal place. Well, she was a Democrat. It's called Zen Workplace. She helps individuals find greater happiness and fulfillment in their lives. And she is another former Democrat who says the party left her. Here is Karlin Borisenko. And have we not got that? Oh. Okay. Okay, I tell you what, I moved it. Okay, we've got to take a break. Holy cow, we're running a little late anyway. So we got to take a break, and we'll be right back. And you're going to want to hear these voices. So share, stick around, and I'll be right back. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Sales and service by a family who cares. Whittemore and Sons, Whittemore and Sons.
There are some things you can simply never depend on, like a perfectly cooked meal from the microwave. Will it be hot or will it be cold? There's only one way to find out. But know that you can always count on Whittemore & Sons in our line of Coyote tractors. Coyote tractors are machines made to work, whether it's mowing, tilling, digging, lifting, or hauling. Check out the full line of tough and versatile Coyote tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, your Coyote tractor dealer, with dependable sales in service for over 50 years. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
From work to fun, we'll help you get it done. Whittemore & Sons, outdoor power equipment.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
Spring is the time of renewal for both you and your home. So brighten your day and your surroundings with great items from Townline Antiques. Do you love classic decor? You'll find furniture, artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more pieces around every corner. Their classic colors and styles will have you thinking spring and feeling invigorated every time you see them. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Townline Antiques has rare items that you won't find anywhere else. Townline is also showcasing a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. Each piece is one of a kind with its own unique flair of colors and form. You simply have to see them to appreciate their beauty. And for everyone who loves to bring items back to life, they're now carrying high-quality fusion mineral paints that give you beautiful color and a durable, long-lasting finish. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Partly to mostly sunny this morning, starting off cool but warming up quickly with highs in the mid-60s and mostly sunny skies. Chance for showers tomorrow morning and again through the afternoon and evening. Some thunderstorms are possible during the evening. Highs will be in the upper 50s and 60s, warmest north. A steadier rain moves in late Thursday into Friday.
Welcome back. Freedom's Pep Rally. Mikkel, I don't take calls in this studio. I've honestly actually become a little gun shy of taking calls at the radio station because of recent calls where people just seem to want to get on to say something nasty, and I'm not going to entertain that. However, that said, I don't have time today, but if I'm here at the studio at my house and you want to get on the air with me, you send me your number. I'm more than happy to call you. It's just harder for me to receive calls here. And actually, they're going to forward the studio lines to this studio. We've just got to get that taken care of. Things sometimes work at a snail's pace, but we get things going and get things done. And I'm suddenly on a clock. I've got a lot of stuff I want to get to. I'm going to try to get to it all. I don't know if we will. Okay, we're talking about the rally against critical race theory in New Hampshire. The first speaker, a former Democrat. Her name is Karlin Borisenko. Here's what she had, and listen closely. This is coming to your kids' schools. You've got to hear what it's all about.
I have been spending the last 2 years of my life studying and fighting back against critical race theory. And it is to the point now where I literally spend my days watching these trainings that are done in organizations and trainings that are done for teachers and even classroom instruction for school children in this absurd ideology. And let me tell you some of the things that I've seen directly with my own eyes. So the Coca-Cola company, about a couple months ago, I got an email from an employee at the Coca-Cola company. They said, Karlin, we all came in today and we're told we were mandated to do this training that told us to be less white. The training told them that white people were oppressors. They were aggressive. They weren't humble. They don't listen. And the instruction they were given by their superiors to keep their jobs is to try to be less white. And that training is not only done in the Coca-Cola company, it is done in thousands of organizations across this country. Let me tell you about Sandia National Laboratories, which is the company that is in charge of maintaining our nuclear arsenal. They forced their white male executives to go on a 3-day retreat in New Mexico, where they were forced to write letters apologizing for their inherent racism, even if their behavior had not been racist. The University of New Hampshire has trained their staff that the role of white employees is to shut up and to accept this absurd ideology. And if they fight back or question their racism in any way, that is just further proof of their inherent racism. I have seen classes for 14-year-old children where teachers are indoctrinating them into this ideology and teaching them if they believe in the Pledge of Allegiance, then they must accept critical race theory, because that's the only way we're going to build a better country that is fair and equal to everyone. I have seen curriculum for students as young as 4 years old where they are teaching them this ideology. And I've heard a lot of people say they have biracial children here. So let me tell you what the teachers are teaching your biracial children. Because about 3 months ago, I sat in on a teacher training program and this question was asked. How do we work with our biracial children, our children who have one white parent and one non-white parent? Here's the answer. They are teaching these children to not identify with the white part of themselves because the white part is the oppressor, to only identify with the color part of themselves and not the white part of themselves. They're literally teaching that whoever the white parent is a racist and an oppressor. This is happening in schools all over the country. It is happening in New Hampshire. We have evidence that it is happening in schools all over this state, in Concord, in Bedford, in Holderness, everywhere. If you don't think it's happening in your kid's school, you just haven't seen it yet, but I promise you it is. But let me tell you this. Here is the bigger problem that we have, because listen, I was a Democrat for 20 years until I left the party last year after I realized what liars they are. And the Democratic Party at this point is lost. We did not expect any of them to support this bill at all. But I have to tell you, I was more than a little surprised when our Republicans were coming out and saying, maybe we should just compromise. Maybe we should just give it up. You know, Rand said that a compromise between food and poison can only lead to death. Critical race theory is poison. Any compromise with this absurd ideology is only going to lead to your children being indoctrinated by the teachers in their schools until they come home and say, why did the teacher say that mommy and daddy is racist?
There it is. Dr. Karlin Borisenko, rally to stop critical race theory indoctrination Saturday in New Hampshire. Next is an Asian American named Chow Kelly. Chow is a leader at the New Hampshire Asian American Coalition. She is on fire for America, and she warns about the coming communist takeover of America, which she recognizes as she emigrated from communist China. Listen to this woman.
My name is Chow Kelly, and I thank God that I'm here in New Hampshire. It's not my choice. I was sent here, but I thank God for that because my father was a POW in the Vietnam War. And he was imprisoned by the communists for 7 years. And this man in the crowd here, 18 years in the communist prison, same prison with my dad. We, the Vietnamese American people, we know the value of freedom, okay? I'm telling you right now, one thing you need to take away today, it's not just about this critical race theory. It's not just that. Communists, the enemies of Americans and humankind, already here in America, in the White House, and in all the levels. They have every battles prepared, ready to take us all. This is one of the battles only. And if you allow this anywhere, in any school, in this country, you know what? You have the police in your house, your children. You won't have any more private conversation in your family because those soldiers, those police gonna report everything you say to their teachers. You cannot touch your kids and you cannot reach their file. You gonna go to prison because of what your children report to them. This is what this is all about. Don't doubt me on that. I grew up in Vietnam, okay? And I was brainwashed by them. But I thank God for my mother, who was very brave during the time my father was in prison. Anything you say different than what the school and the government tell you, you get in prison. Every day I come home and I chanting what the communist system teaching me about the wrong history. Okay, about my father was defending freedom, but they say, oh, we're the enemies. My mom corrected everything. And you know what? If the neighbor hear that, she will be in the prison. My mom did not care. And I thank her. That's why I know I'm not brainwashed. And all Americans, if you don't do anything, New Hampshire, not just New Hampshire, America and the whole world, it's not going to be live free or die. It's going to be a lay down and die. Are you ready to lay down and die? No. You have to stand up. You have to be out here like these people here today. Don't be afraid. Not anymore. When the communists come, they take your guns. Right now, they grab all your children to become their soldiers. Okay? Do not lose your children. Do not become the machine to create babies. So the communist parties can use your babies to kill all of you and me. And I am not going to lay down. We survive communism, and we are here to tell all Americans, Democratic parties is a communist party, Marxist system. Get rid of them. Delete. Thank you. God bless America.
Delete. Chow Kelly in New Hampshire. God bless her heart. We're not done. Oh, we're not done. In fact, don't worry. I would like to just let you know now that in the first hour tomorrow, I'm going to redo this whole segment. We're going to redo this whole segment. I'm not even going to be able to get it all in today because I pushed the clock too far. Actually, it'll be after 10 o'clock tomorrow. We have Dr. G in with us tomorrow morning at 9:30. So it'll be after 10 o'clock, but we'll redo this whole segment. So have people, you need to hear this, have them listen to the show, either on the audio stream, on the radio, or on the video stream. Because this is some of the most moving speaking against the racist left that I have ever heard. And this depicts critical race theory for exactly what it is, communism. I've got time for one more speaker here. Barbara from Harlem she's a black woman. She's an ordained minister from New York. Barbara from Harlem, that makes sense, right? This lady is passionate beyond belief. And if you weren't moved by Chow Kelly, you will be moved by Barbara from Harlem. This is in New Hampshire, Saturday, and it was the rally to stop critical race theory indoctrination. Here's Barbara.
I'm so happy to be among patriots. Live free or die. That's the motto here. You know, I didn't know much about this critical race theory. So I talked to my friend Kathy, and she sent me some information. And the information that she sent me, and I've been studying a little bit, I see that they tried to institute this in Russia in 1917. I see that Mao even did what he did, using young people that would even shame their parents. This is America. We were founded on Judeo-Christian values, principles, ethics, and God has blessed this nation. This is not the time for us to turn our backs, run and find a hole to hide in. This is a time to stand. Stand against the evil that is before us. Stand against this godlessness that they're trying to rip and tear and destroy our civil society. We will not stand by and let them turn this into a communist cesspool. It is time for us to motivate parents to get up off that couch, turn off that television, go to those schools, meet those teachers, get on that school board, be proactive, and not let them destroy our children and turn them into monsters and freaks. That's what they're trying to do, because these people are godless. Critical. What is so critical about this? You know, we have to take these words apart. Critical race theory. A theory is something that's unproven. You can't prove it. You know, my take on CRT is crazy radical trash. That's what I call it. That's all this is. The crazies who hate God.
There you go.
And for you out there whose skin color is not mine, don't let them tell you that God made a mistake when he made you the color he made you. God didn't make any mistake. See, these people are godless.
They are.
These people hate God.
Amen.
They hate the founding of this country. They won't leave. Because if you have a problem with race in America and 76% of the population happens to be white, why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? They hate capitalism, but they'll buy property.
True.
They don't make sense.
Nope.
As they breathe, people, they lie.
They do.
The Democratic Party is no longer a party that represents you.
Nope.
That represents me.
Listen.
They represent all of those isms that don't represent God. Socialism, Marxism, communism, secular humanism. All of those things eliminate God. And that's what they're trying to do. Eliminate God. But my friends, let's eliminate them.
I don't want to interrupt her speech, but Barbara, would you agree with me that the biggest racist in the country, it's the Democratic Party. They started the KKK. Critical race theory was started by black professors in the 1960s to infuse the allegation of racism throughout the United States, and it got into our agencies to demonize white people, and that's evil. The Democrats are the biggest racists in this country.
Absolutely. And also James Cone with that black liberation theology. All of that is racist. They started all of that, but you know, they listened to Saul Alinsky when he says rub the resentments of people in the community, make them dissatisfied. Well, you know, the biggest problem in our community, our children don't have fathers. They're walking around with unresolved anger because they've been abandoned. Many of them don't even have a father's name on their birth certificate. I know it because I saw it. I saw it as when I was the director of family daycare. I saw birth certificates where the father's name should be, and there was a blank. I closed my office door and laid my head on my desk and cried like a baby. What child, as they grow, wants a birth certificate where the father's name is not there? I saw that in living color. So they've taken that resentment. We have over 73% of black babies born without a daddy. Dysfunctional families. I worked in Harlem for many years with those children. I understand them because that's why they're so angry. It's a lot of unresolved anger. So Saul Alinsky taught his band of godless heathens, target them, target black people. They're a good prey because they come from broken families. Make them feel that you care about them and you understand their resentment. But then what they did, they twisted it and said, you feel this way because of slavery. They never let black people forget about slavery. Never. And they want you to feel bad like you slave owners. You know, that used to bother me. I said, slave owners have been dead for many years. They answered to God. You know what I mean? Why should I hate dead people? Then when I read the Bible and got more involved with the Bible, read the story about Joseph. Joseph told his brothers, you may have sold me into slavery, but what you meant for evil, God meant for good.
Barbara from Harlem. And this was all in New Hampshire. This was right next door, where critical race theory is rearing its ugly head now in the state. You've heard the stories. And there's more. We've got more. I don't have time for it today. So what I'll promise you to do, promise me you'll try to get as many people from the other side to listen to these genuine people of different ethnicities, different races, and you may just change some minds. I'm going to use this tonight on the Keith Hansen show. I'll be doing that on the syndicated show tonight, 9 o'clock. You can find it at Right America Media. You can find it at a bunch of different networks, and I will post it later on my page and Legacy 1160 if you want to tune in to hear it tonight. Otherwise, I'll have it for you tomorrow after 10 o'clock after Dr. G, who's with us every Wednesday at 9:30. So with that, I'm going to bid you adieu and wish you the very best of days. Thank you so much for joining me. Please share, and as always, I appreciate your time and your being here with me. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
Hey folks, who's thinking about spring? Hi, this is Bernie from Trailside Performance. If you're taking on those tough chores around your property, come check out the #1 selling farm tractor in the world, Mahindra. Not only are Mahindra tractors tough, but they come with a 7-year warranty to back it up. With Mahindra, there's no regeneration, no diesel particulate filter, and no hassle. I personally invite you to our Winslow or Newport location to learn more about Mahindra and their awesome discounts and finance programs. At Trailside Performance, we service what we sell, and we sell Mahindra.
Many things change over time, but since 1972, one thing hasn't changed at all. That Delta Ambulance will always be there when you need them most. Delta Ambulance prides themselves on having a team that utilizes superior training, years of experience, and state-of-the-art medical technologies. So if you need safe transportation for routine or critical care transfers, Delta Ambulance is standing by. Learn more about the difference Delta makes at deltaambulance.org. Compassion, leadership, excellence. That's Delta Ambulance.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.